459-428-1000.
DINOVITE.com.
I got my Blink home security system delivered right to my door. I downloaded the app and it walked me right through the easy setup. Even with my complicated router system, I was done in like 10 minutes. Now it notifies me whenever something moves in front of the wireless cameras, or I can just check it whenever I want right from my phone. And I got you a deal. Get 3 Blink cams for what the other guys charge you for 1, plus an extra 10% off. Visit blinkprotect.com/FTL. 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 I've said it many times on air, and I'll say it here. The New Hampshire Liberty Alliance is one of the most important organizations for freedom in the world. New Hampshire is ground zero for freedom, and the NHLA is the best organization at promoting effective liberty activism. This ad is sponsored by Free Talk Live, and I, Mark Edge, am a lifetime member because I believe in the NHLA. Please check them out at nhliberty.org. Not everyone can move right now, but you can support the cause. Donate top cryptocurrencies or old-fashioned U.S. dollars, nhliberty.org. Visit their website and see what they're all about, nhliberty.org.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippie! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you gotta keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that 1/10 of a calorie it takes to click on something. Facebook.freetalklive.com.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com. You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
More Free Talk Live here. We'll take your calls about whatever you want. If you want to join us, our number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We do have Skype, and the Skype username is LRN.FM. The Blink Home Security System. You can get that for your home or maybe small office and set it up super easy. It's a wireless camera system, and there's 3 Blink cams you can get for the price of what some of the other guys might charge you for 1 security camera over at blinkprotect.com/FTL. You unbox it, you plug in the batteries, and then you set up the cameras, pop in the you plug the one wire in the system is the power cable for the hub. You get it all configured via your Wi-Fi enabled device like your smartphone or tablet. It's super fast and easy to do this. Go to blinkprotect.com/FTL to get yours. And, of course, you can customize the cameras with, what times they're active and how long of a video clip they should send to you on your smart device if there is something that happens in front of the cams during the active times. Go to blinkprotect.com/FTL, and you can get yours there. As we continue here, it's Ian, Bob, and Melanie in the studio here tonight. We're talking about the good news out of California, but Melanie, you're going to follow this up with some bad news for gun owners and people who support the right to bear arms in California.
Well, and just for bystanders, really, is kind of the nature of guns.
We'll get into to that here in moments. But the good news in California is that finally little late compared to some of the other Western states, but they're finally legalizing cannabis. Today was the first day. Lines of hundreds of people outside these various different cannabis licensed dispensaries that are now available to anybody. I think it's over the age of
21.
Is it 21?
Yeah.
Yep, you're right. 21. So sorry.
It's going to be 21.
Yeah.
Sorry, teenagers, but you don't qualify.
Well, I mean, our adults, that's kind of mean. Like 18, 19, 20-year-olds who are paying their own bills, living by themselves, have jobs, work
they should
60
be able to
hours
buy
a week.
cannabis.
Calling them,
well, I mean, government agents are, if nothing else,
calling them teenagers is kind of mean.
Government agents are by their nature greedy and lazy. So, I mean, they're just like, oh, well, drinking age is 21. I'll just do the same thing with cannabis.
Yeah, and of course, the drinking age should be rolled back, too. Look,
Right.
I mean, I only call them teenagers because the word exists in 18 and 19, but I guess 20-year-olds aren't teenagers.
It's still like if there's an 18-year-old standing in front of me who works 60 hours a week because they haven't been around long enough to develop job skills, and they're working 60 hours a week, they're making money, they're paying their own bills, they have an apartment. I'm not gonna be like, oh yeah, you're a teenager. Like, this just no, that's just disrespectful.
I didn't say it with any disrespect, but the toll-free number, if you want to join us here, is 855-450-FREE. Let's go to the phones. We can talk more about what's happening in California in moments. Ricky is on the line here on Free Talk Live in Pennsylvania. Go ahead, Ricky.
That'd be the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania there, brother. And thank you so much. You know, tonight I was thinking, I hear your topic, and I'm very excited. You know, because here's, first of all, a person, a deputy of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, who has no issue with the use of cannabis.
Well, congratulations.
All right.
I think that's a plus. Of course, if anybody ever listened to me, they're probably not surprised. But see, here's something even more important. Myself personally, I have been doing my best talking to those who you need to talk to, whether it be the representatives in my local district, or for that matter, the congressman's office, for the past 3.5 years for cannabis legalization. And I'd like to share with you a little progress report from Pennsylvania.
Sure, go ahead.
All right. Well, it's really kind of sad, actually. I've been pushing it for 3.5 years now. Last year, this is July of 16, they put through medical cannabis. But Ricky from the Commonwealth's not happy about this, and I'm going to tell you why. Because this is not what it appears to be, and too many people in the states are too eager for legalization, and here's why. Medical cannabis. Now, the only thing that's approved, mind you, myself, I fit into 2 categories. I'm not going to take part in this. I'm going to tell you why. Because the only thing that's approved is ointments, oils, and the damn pill.
You can't actually buy smoked cannabis. You can't buy edible cannabis.
It's worse than that. Now, here's the thing. Now, hold on there. Because, see here, what's still considered a Class 1 drug is dried cannabis or cannabis flowers. Now, here's the problem with this. Now, I'm for legalization over taxation. Here in the Commonwealth, we don't tax food or clothing. I was on budging briefly on sales tax. And the fact is, I can't do that. Because my answer is, this is a setup if I've ever seen one. Because cannabis is a food item, it's an herb. The moment we tax it here, the genie's going to be out of the bottle. Now, I will say...
You think if they tax cannabis, they're going to try to tax other food items?
I mean, a lot of the times, legalization of weed in particular comes with a lot of strings attached, both implicit and explicit.
Oh, yeah.
Now, this is something I'm very passionate about, Ian, and I'll give you a little more insight into this. Now, I will say, this is the state. This is not the Commonwealth. This is the state that's doing this and imposing this. This is what they want, like in other areas. And I will say the Commonwealth, as far as the people that I talk to, either in my local district or the congressman's office, they're down with exactly what I'm saying. Now, the state's pushing
Hold on,
down.
are you saying the congressman is not with the state, but they're with the Commonwealth?
Well, you got to understand, a congressman is a liaison between the state and the Commonwealth. That's what a congressman does. You know, it's a very hard job. I say it's harder than president, personally. And when it comes down to his best interests are with the Commonwealth. And if we tax it, see, it's hard for him because he's trying to work this. and his people, and the same with the representative in my district, and we're holding out. I mean, I don't want it to be like other places where they give in so quickly. And ultimately, at the end of the day, it's either going to be half-assed or it's going to be destructive. I want full legalization without taxation.
I'm with you. You know, it's not often that we agree on things. Ricky, thanks for the call tonight.
Taxes are theft.
A lot of the time when they go for medical or one of these in-between things where it's not full legalization, in Hawaii, they just sent everybody a letter. Hey, you got a medical card? Cool, give me a gun. There's going to be strings attached, whether it's on the front end or whether it's on the back end. If instead of legalizing it, they create this regulatory bureau of just nightmare obnoxiousness, there's going to be a price to pay for that. I mean, essentially what they're doing is making you kind of Sophie's choice your rights. Well, do you want weed or do you want whatever else it happens to be, whether it be guns or driving or sales tax or whatever, you're going to have to pick. And that's kind of how they have it set up in a lot of cases.
Now, doesn't legalization tend to generally mean regulation? I mean, isn't that part of the process of legalizing to make legal,
but there's
to
a difference
create
between
laws around it?
So if you're selling just a random item, if I'm selling in New Hampshire sandwiches, there's going to be some licenses I have to get for that. You know, or I guess that's a bad example because it's food. If I'm selling T-shirts, I'm going to have to pay sales tax. I'm going to have to abide by all the rules of. Yeah, that's true. I'm going to have to do whatever the rules of, this is how we do sales. But if I'm selling X-ray machines, that is a heavily regulated industry. Or if I'm selling tools to do surgery with, there's a difference between okay, these are the regular rules for kind of everything versus we're having a special agency for this particular product.
Let's talk more in moments. California legalizing cannabis today. It's Free Talk Live.
Anytime, any place, anywhere. Radio remains the most intimate of all forms of media. At home, at work, in the car, on smartphones. Over 90% of consumers still listen to radio every week. That makes choosing radio as a place to advertise your business one of the best decisions you can make. Email advertise@gcnlive.com and partner up with an experienced GCN representative. Advertise@gcnlive.com. Easy, affordable, effective.
If you or someone you care about loves outdoor adventure, then check out slingbow.com for some unique holiday gift ideas. That's slingbow.com, where we have some innovative new products for the archer, hunter, or bow fishing enthusiast in your family. Now through January, use the promo code HOLIDAY to get free shipping in the U.S. or Canada. And from all of us at Slingbow Industries, have a safe, joyous, and peaceful holiday season.
The warning signs.
First, he made me feel special. He promised he'd look after me, provide for my future. He broke every promise he made.
Millions of Americans afflicted.
I was ready to leave, but he told me he'd change. So I gave him another chance. I was such a fool.
The consequences.
Things only got worse. He started making my decisions for me about my job, my kids' education, my money, my safety, my future. He took away my choices, but I kept going back to the same politicians.
The diagnosis? Battered voter syndrome.
I fell for the same old lies. They were just playing with my emotions, telling me what I wanted to hear. That's not right.
If you're tired of the two-party system but want to support a principled Libertarian Party, check out the Libertarian Party of New Hampshire at lpnh.org. That's lpnh.org.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it.
Get started with Bitcoin at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM. Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it. And once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world. So I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here. And I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, add yourself to the Shire map at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com.
You can connect with the Liberty Radio Network via our Facebook page at facebook.lrn.fm. That's facebook.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. Dial in toll free to join us right here. New Year's Day. In the studio tonight, it's Ian,
Bob,
and Melanie.
Bitcoin.com. Great place to go and learn about cryptocurrency. The very first ever and most successful cryptocurrency is Bitcoin. And you owe it to yourself to learn a thing or two about it. Coming here into 2018, as the price of one Bitcoin is currently lower than it was at its peak last month. Last month, it got up to as much as almost $20,000. And today, it's been in the $13,000 range. So quite a drop over the last month. Might be a good opportunity to start getting into it. And the best way to get into cryptocurrency is to learn the basics, and you can do that over at bitcoin.com, so be sure you check that out. They've also got some useful news at their news site about Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency world. That's news.bitcoin.com if you want to go and see that. If you need a quick tool to convert between Bitcoin or Bitcoin Cash and the US dollar price, you can do that over at tools.bitcoin.com. They got all kinds of useful stuff there at bitcoin.com. As we continue, we'll take your calls and your thoughts about what's on your mind. We're discussing California legalizing cannabis, finally, after several other states had already done so, including Washington, Oregon, Colorado, and then it was the 2016 election where Nevada and California, Maine, as well as Massachusetts, I think Guam, if I'm not mistaken. I know we're on in Guam, so maybe somebody there will call tomorrow and correct us on that. But then also Washington, D.C. So we're starting to see the change coming here that hopefully will be hard to put this genie back in the bottle, or the cat back in the bag, so to speak, because certainly the prohibitionists want to rekindle prohibition. They want to bring it back. Some of them want to bring back alcohol prohibition. So, I mean, there's always going to be that push, and you can see it in some of the news headlines about cannabis over the last few years. I think it was 2012 when Colorado and Washington did their legalization. And since then, every now and then there's like an alarmist headline of some child got their hands on a cookie with some cannabis in it, and it's
you're not supposed to give them the kids, so if you don't do that, you won't have a problem.
Well, I don't know if it was that the parents purposefully gave it to the child, but
Okay, so if you have a child and you have a marijuana cookie, and those two things came together, you did something wrong.
Yeah,
you were neglectful for sure.
Yes. Also, keep them away from pets.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, my mom's a vet in Washington State, and it's a thing that happens sometimes. It can be a problem with surgery in particular. It lowers their, just because it makes everything slower, lowers their, blood pressure and whatnot. Yeah,
okay.
And it could be. Plus, they tend to. Plus, of course, they're much smaller than us, so so the same dose will make them significantly more high.
Animals and getting stoned are kind of an interesting thing to look at because, the animals have the instincts that they're very much in tune with, right? So if it's in the form of a cookie, then that would obviously probably, could fool them or whatever. But there are animals who will go up and literally consume cannabis in real life, like in the forest or whatever. Like a deer will go up and just eat buds off of a marijuana plant. I've heard that this is the truth.
Oh, yeah. No, absolutely. It's
I've never seen it.
Interestingly, also, monkeys, a lot of monkeys and apes have very similar levels of alcoholism to humans, and also the similar rates of teetotalerism.
Have you seen? I believe it. Have you seen the video of the monkey? I don't know what kind of monkey it is, but he's like running around on a beach at some kind of resort and grabbing cocktails off of people's
half-drunk cocktails. Find it. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
So, no, it's interesting. I hadn't heard that the animal kingdom also had its teetotaler percentage, but it makes sense.
Yeah.
So to some extent, I think that animals can kind of govern themselves on these issues. I mean, I've seen animals where they're interested in cannabis, and I've seen the animals that are not interested in cannabis when it's their owners have offered it to them.
Right. Similarly, like I think it's generally a bad thing to give drugs like that sort of thing to pets and whatnot.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of low class behavior. But I know when I have my mead or a beer or something, like my dog very clearly, like she'll come up, smell it, and be like, no, she does not want anything to do with it.
Jazzy's the same way. The studio beast is also not interested in any altering of her state of consciousness. And I tend to agree that people shouldn't dose their animals with drugs. I do agree with you with that, but I've been around enough low-class people to see plenty of people offering their animals cannabis, and there's a variety of responses from them. So back to the story that we were sharing from CNN about the huge lines at the various different recreational marijuana dispensaries that opened up today. Some of them already were medical dispensaries that got the extra license to do recreational. Cannabis is now legal, this according to the 2017 annual report from New Frontier Data, in the most populous state in the country, dramatically increasing the total potential size of the cannabis industry while establishing legal adult use markets across the entire Pacific coast. Of course, pot is still illegal federally, and in most of the rest of the states, the California industry is forecast to reach $7 billion in just a few years, which would be more than the $6.6 billion of the current entire legal cannabis market in all of the rest of the states that have it legal, according to New Frontier's data. Legalizing it will mean a lot of people may try it who had shied away from pot until now, said Lucero. Now, that's always been a big question for me. Like, I don't know if I believe there are a lot of people who are out there who've just been waiting until it was legal before they tried cannabis.
There are people who are that statist, though.
There are those people, but are there a lot of them?
Exist.
I don't know that there's a lot.
By percentage, probably not.
No.
I don't know that there's a lot, but certainly in my experience.
But you're one of them, right?
I didn't necessarily not do it because it wasn't legal. I just wasn't actually particularly interested. Like
by coincidence in your life you weren't interested in it.
Yeah, and then I was like, because
it had been offered to you plenty of times, I'm sure.
I mean, not really.
No?
Yeah, those commercials aren't really real. If you're not hanging around it, nobody's
I didn't really hang around people who did
hey,
it
random
either.
person want to hit? Like, that doesn't happen.
But no, I was dealing with depression. I was in Washington State. I had heard good things about sativa.
That's where you moved
depression.
from, right?
Yes.
From New Hampshire. Okay.
Yes.
Right, from Washington to New Hampshire.
Mm-hmm. And so I was like, you know what? It's worth it to try it now, and I know where to get it. So I went to this, I went to the cannabis store, Khalifa in Oak Harbor, Washington, and I had the best customer service there I've had at any business.
Wow.
Very knowledgeable. Great. Clearly weren't using the product while working. It's just not the experience I had at some other places.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, they were absolutely fantastic, very professional, very helpful.
Did you? And so you had gone in there by yourself, or okay? So you just decided, all right, I'm in Washington. It's legal.
I'd asked around some people that I knew, just for some advice and and whatnot. The selection, but and then I went in there and I was like, hey, I've never smoked before. This is what I'm dealing with. This is what I'm trying to do.
I wonder if they believed you.
I think so.
Yeah, you could probably tell a newbie, right?
Yeah.
It's probably pretty obvious.
Yeah, I mean, I had to I had to get a pipe and everything. So yeah, I mean, probably.
So, did it help? I mean, because some people say that cannabis for depression, that some people get depressed by using cannabis.
Sure. So in my experience,
everyone's different, of course.
So I learned to smoking cigars with my dad. So I still have a tendency to not inhale. I actually do, like Bill Clinton said. I'm not actually lying about it like him.
Right.
It's just kind of an instinct now. If I smoke something, not to inhale. So what really worked for me was actually the sodas.
Really?
They had infused sodas. Take one dose of that, and then
a whole soda, or like half a can. Or
it's 8 ounces, and one dose was 4 ounces. Was half of it. So
we can talk more about how that affected you, because again, you said you were suffering from depression. Our toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. If you want to weigh in, you're welcome to take control of the airwaves on Free Talk Live.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dynavite for help.
Order a 90-day supply of Dynavite.
Dynavite is nutrition.
Pick up 2 bottles of Lico Chops, get the 3rd bottle free.
New improved Lico Chops with omega-3, omega-6, vitamin E.
And now, 6 extra direct-fed microbials.
Even better for the digestive tract and immune system.
Try Lico Chops. Buy 2, get 1 free.
At Dynavite.com.
DINOVITE.com.
Cryptocurrencies are successful because of good technology. The liberty-loving voluntarists who founded Zencash in 2017 took the best tech, like zero-knowledge anonymity and decentralized autonomous organizations, and are creating a secure platform for money, messages, and media that can be sent to anyone, anywhere in the world. Zencash is a cryptocurrency dedicated to peace, anonymity, and decentralization. Find out more at zencash.com. That's zencash.com.
It's about time something new came along for better selling and buying online. And I found it.
What now, Marge?
It's buysellmakeoffer.com.
Never heard of it.
It's a brand new company. That's why you've never heard of it. It's the newest and best way to sell any products online. I did all the research.
Sell my car?
Yes.
Our home?
Yep.
My golf bag?
Your golf clubs. All of them.
How about your purse collection hoard?
Hey, now.
You said any product.
Right. I did. We get 30 days free.
Really?
Packages starting from only $9.95. And buysellmakeoffer.com will never charge item fees, ever. Never. And this is cool. Listen to this. You can even use Skype or video to show your items.
That's cool.
Yes. All we have to do is go to the website, sign up, and then load our stuff to sell. I love this site.
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. You got it?
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. Better selling, better buying.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market. Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
In Survivor Max 2, School Bites, Max must scavenge through a wasteland swarming with the undead. Desperate to find the medicine he needs, he discovers a community of survivors at his former school. Has he finally found the safe haven he's been looking for, or will he discover that school bites? Look for Survivor Max on Facebook, read reviews on Amazon, and read Chapter 1 at survivormax.com.
While our satellite channel is free to listen to, it's not free for us. You can help us cover our satellite costs with the chip-in on the right side of the page at lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, and you can join us right here. The toll-free number is 855-450 free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Joining you here tonight, it's Ian,
Bob,
and Melanie.
And don't forget, you can join us online. Just get interactive with other Free Talk Live listeners over at the Free Talk Live forums. You can go to forum.freetalklive.com. You can find a variety of some of the co-hosts as well as many listeners that are there. We've had a lot of great people signing up and getting active on the forums. Hopefully it'll be a big year in 2018 for moving more conversations to places like the Free Talk Live forums rather than Facebook, which I just quit last night, cold turkey. And so I'm on, let's see, it's been, well, basically since midnight last night since I've been on Facebook. I have logged out completely. I had the habit of, like, I caught myself going to Facebook just a couple of times today, just sort of habitually typing it in and hitting enter. And I'm like, wait a minute, I'm not going to log in. And I didn't. So we'll see how many days I can go for without actually logging into Facebook, because I didn't delete the account.
Right.
So if I need to do some sort of administrative thing, which could be the only reason that I'll go back, but I don't want to. I don't want to go back there. I figure I'll just let like other people who like to be on Facebook take care of whatever official things I need to do on Facebook, like administering the Free Talk Live Facebook group for amplifiers, which is still there, and there's still a lot of people in there. And that had been my kind of excuse for continuing with Facebook, because I've been just frustrated with Facebook. I don't think it's a productive place generally. I think it's a big time waster, and I've had a decade of experience with it now. I think I started like 10 years ago or 9 or 10 years ago with Facebook.
Right around there for me too.
And I can't get that time back, but I can do something now about it. And so I just finally decided last night, screw it. I'm not going to use that excuse anymore of, well, I need to be here for Free Talk Live's AMP group. Well, no, I really don't. So forget it. Anyway, if you want to get in touch with me, you can't do it on Facebook now. So you can join the Free Talk Live forum. I'm there. Melanie, you're there as well. Bob, I don't know if
no,
you're not there.
I did at one point join the Shire Society forum, but
yeah,
I've been
it's part of that.
Okay, yeah, I haven't been there in quite a while.
Well, you ought to come back. We got a lot.
I
of
should.
activity.
I would like to see forums rise up again. They made much better communities than Facebook pages.
I tend to agree, and this is a particularly good forum because it's very modern. They've done a nice job of bringing forums into this decade, and it's very, very snappy, very easy to use, intuitive, and it's fast. It works well. So check it out at forum.freetalklive.com. That's forum.freetalklive.com. We were talking about cannabis, and we can talk a little bit more about what's happening out in California with people standing in line, probably still all day long here today to try to get their hands on some of the first legally available cannabis in the state. But Bob, you were telling us about your personal experience with cannabis that you, until recently, how many years ago was it that you did?
Oh, it was in 2015, I believe.
And it was Washington State,
yes,
where you were living at the time. You had been suffering from some level of depression, and you had heard that cannabis has helped some people with that.
Yes.
So you went in totally unawares. You had never smoked cannabis in your life
right
prior to this, and you had a very nice experience at one of the recreational dispensaries there,
yep,
which you said was like the best
That's
retail experience you've ever had.
Absolutely.
And
hands
they walked you through it. They showed you different options and made recommendations. You ultimately ended up. What'd you buy? Do you remember? What it was?
I don't remember what strain. It was a sativa. It was a gram of sativa for, I believe, $11.
A gram.
Yes.
And then you ended up deciding that the sodas were actually better.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. So I learned to smoke on cigars.
Yeah.
So, I just have a tendency to, just my natural instinct at this point is to not inhale when I smoke something.
Because that's a cigar thing.
Right. Yeah. If you inhale on a cigar, you're not going to have a good time. So that's always, I kind of, smoking has been somewhat ineffective. But yeah, I found with a very particular dose of the sodas, they were the sodas were 8 ounces, I believe, and it was 4 ounces a serving, 20 mgs of THC per serving, which was really nice because it's you know exactly how much you're getting.
Yep.
And so I would drink 1 serving of that. About an hour or so in, it would start taking some effect. It'd be I'd definitely feel it, but it wouldn't be like high, just enough to relax, let my mind calm down a little bit from anxiety and everything else.
Anxiety, okay.
Well, I mean that's just part of the depression and everything. Largely it's just worrying about too much and just
So it chilled you out.
Yeah, a little bit, and then it would. Then I would go from there. When I would start coming down, I would have the second dose, or I'd have it the next day. I had 3-day weekends, so and then I would that would help for. I wasn't cured for a while or anything, but it was a major help and it would last for 2 to 3 weeks.
That's great.
That it would help, and then. Did
you buy the sodas the first visit to the dispensary, or was that later?
No, that was later. The smoking helped a little bit, and I saw some effect. And I was like, well, let's try some other things to, because I knew the issue that was that I wasn't inhaling properly.
Sure. And besides, it's easier to drink or eat something than to smoke something anyway. It's probably better for you.
Yeah, and plus I would then know the exact amount of THC I was taking.
Right, measured doses.
Yeah, and because if I went too much, it wouldn't be very helpful.
Yeah.
If I had that right that nice sweet spot.
You don't want to get too stoned where you can't get anything done, right?
Right. Well, not only that, it just wouldn't be that helpful. And
Gotcha.
it wouldn't help for those 2 or 3 weeks. It would just be all right, it'd help for a day or two.
I see.
If I had too much. So it's just that nice measured dose. It was all right, now I'm a lot better for, a couple weeks. And so, I would every 3-4 weeks, I would go get some more and get another soda, also $11. And
$11 for a soda?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, at least with the THC and everything, and it was a very high quality soda made with pomegranate juice.
So it didn't taste like weed.
No. I mean, a little bit in the aftertaste, but
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta say, I've never been to one of these recreational dispensaries before. I've never had that experience, and hopefully we'll be able to do that soon here in New England. Now that both Massachusetts and Maine have legalized it, but they haven't yet opened up any stores there. However, in California, they say, according to CNN, that Monday was a muted rollout because licensing procedures aren't in place in many cities. No recreational marijuana, for instance, could be bought legally today in either Los Angeles or San Francisco, the state's biggest cities. So there's still more hoops, more legal hurdles to jump through. But as one of the pot shop owners says, quote, by having the state come in with a regulatory program really helps legitimize it. And I think we're going to see a lot of folks who otherwise are a little hesitant to shop at dispensaries. Well, maybe that's true in California, that people look at the state as a legitimate thing, but obviously we don't. And to me, I hope that, and it's probably a very unrealistic hope, but I sure hope that here in New Hampshire we can avoid a lot of the regulatory structure that they've implemented in places like Colorado and California, not to mention the taxes, which they'll talk about here in a moment. I mean, in order to get a politician to support something like legalization,
you pretty much have to support taxing it, because that's like the big pitch is, okay, guys, you're spending all this money on this war on drugs. You could be making money by taxing cannabis. I don't like having to say that. I don't support taxing it, but I have to say, if I were a state representative and I had to vote on a legalization bill that included taxing, I'd have to vote for it, because if it were the choice of continuing prohibition and continuing to put people in a jail cell or adding in some kind of a tax onto a legalized scheme, it seems that one is the clear lesser evil.
Yeah, I can see that. It's like it's either stealing from people and kidnapping them, or just stealing from them.
Yeah.
Which,
it's distasteful, but regardless, what I would like to see, if we're going to have a tax, because obviously to me the best solution is to just strike cannabis from all the laws. Just eliminate from whatever prohibition statutes there are out there in New Hampshire. Just eliminate the word cannabis or marijuana or whatever word they use to reference it. That way, of course I'd like to eliminate all of the prohibitions, but we got to start with this one. So that way, they've just ended prohibition. It's not a legal structure. It's not a let's give more power to the government liquor bureaucracy, which is inevitably probably going to be the bureaucracy that gets the power here. So just end prohibition. It would be nice if that happened, but if we're going to have taxes, I think that they should put the statute together to say that New Hampshire will have the lowest tax of all of the legal states. That would be a smart move, because it would bring a lot of the industry here. More coming up. Free Talk Live.
It's been said, any society is only 3 missed meals away from chaos. Those times may be near. Think about it. Our country faces multiple terrorist threats and aggressions from Russia and North Korea. Social unrest and violent marches yet again may lead to looting of stores and city shutdowns. And our crumbling infrastructure leaves our power grid vulnerable to long-term outages from a single cyber attack. When the chaos from any one of these threats arises, the government knows it can't provide during a widespread national emergency. That's why you need your own plan for self-reliance. That's where My Patriot Supply comes in. Get a 4-week survival food supply for only $99. That includes breakfast, lunches, and dinners. Order online at preparewithgcn.com. $99 for 4 weeks of survival food that tastes like homemade cooking and lasts up to 25 years. From My Patriot Supply. Get your kits today at preparewithgcn.com. Free shipping is included. Preparewithgcn.com.
I love My Magic Mud. I drink a lot of coffee. I had stains on my teeth. Then I found My Magic Mud, and I was told it would remove stains. So I paid attention when I brushed the first time. My Magic Mud is black tooth powder, and the difference it made in my teeth in one application was noticeable. With 4, my teeth were as white as you normal folks out there. Please go to mymagicmud.com and buy a jar. There's 150 applications for $25. You can use Bitcoin, mymagicmud.com.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene, the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Monday, January 1st, 2018. Silver is trading at $16.93 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,303 per ounce. Zencash is trading at $57, and the average price of Bitcoin is $13,447. Antiwar.com reports the latest in a series of Saudi airstrikes killing a number of civilian bystanders in Yemen. So warplanes attack a popular restaurant in the port of Hodeidah on Saturday, killing at least 20 and wounding a number of others. The attacks in the Al Jarahi district targeted the crowded restaurant and destroyed 3 taxi cabs that were parked outside. Everyone in the cabs was killed and dozens of other casualties were reported in the restaurant. Saudi officials offered no indication why the strikes targeted the restaurant, though this isn't particularly particularly surprising, as the Saudis have rarely offered comments in recent weeks related to their strikes that kill civilians. Attacking Hodeidah has become increasingly common, however, with Saudi forces trying to soften up the defenses of the last port held by the Northern Houthi movement. Such strikes, however, have tended to target civilian infrastructure.
Are you looking for a cryptocurrency that has a focus on users and usability? Then look into Zencash. Zencash has the ability to use both transparent and shielded transactions, with shielded transactions using zero-knowledge proofs. Zencash features global governance with inclusive decision-making, reliable funding for continuous improvements, and documentation and wallets in many languages that are available for Linux, Mac, Windows, and Android devices. Learn more at zensystem.io. That's zensystem.io.
UPI reports a federal court in December ruled in favor of a California high school student who kneeled during the national anthem despite school rules forbidding protests during athletic events. The U.S. District Court for the Southern District of California temporarily struck down San Pasqual Valley Unified School District's rule against kneeling, sitting, or similar forms of political protest during sporting events and a requirement that students and coaches stand during the national anthem. The rule was imposed in October after an incident in which members of a rival high school team from Arizona yelled racial slurs at the San Pasqual Valley players who engaged in protest. San Pasqual Valley has a majority Latino and Native American population. San Pasqual Valley Unified School District Superintendent Ronna Fox told the Yuma Sun, "Our students were subjected to verbal assaults, other incidents including the throwing of water and the use of racial slurs and gestures. But a football player named only as VA in court documents filed a lawsuit against the school district on grounds that the rule violated his First Amendment rights." Attorney Katie Traverso, the attorney who represented VA, praised the court's decision, saying, "Students like our client who consciously carry their values and ideals with them cannot be silenced or directed on what to say or not to say by their school in this manner."
For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals. Gold, silver, platinum, and palladium. They don't feed the banks. They're Bitcoin preferred and have removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co.
Reuters reports Chief Justice John Roberts said on Sunday he would launch a review in 2018 of how the federal judiciary handles sexual harassment following the recent resignation of a U.S. appeals court judge amid allegations of inappropriate sexual conduct and comments. In his annual year-end report on the federal judiciary, Roberts said the judicial branch of government was not immune to incidents of sexual harassment, and addressing it would be a new challenge in the coming year. Allegations of systematic sexual harassment and assault that surfaced against movie producer Harvey Weinstein in 2017 galvanized women to speak out about instances of sexual harassment in the media, government, and workplaces across the country. Last month, renowned San Francisco-based federal appeals judge Alex Kozinski retired from his lifetime appointment after over a dozen women came forward to accuse him of inappropriate sexual conduct or comments. In a statement announcing his resignation, Kozinski said that while friends and family had urged him to stay on and defend himself, he could not be an effective judge and simultaneously fight this battle. Justice Roberts said he asked the federal judiciary's Director of Administrative Office to form a working group to examine the court's practices and recommend necessary changes to codes of conduct, employee guidance on reporting misconduct, and its own rules for investigating complaints. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
The producers of Sesame Street have responded to the controversy over the recent New Yorker cover that showed Bert and Ernie as a gay couple celebrating the repeal of DOMA. Sesame Workshop released a statement today saying, quote, "We have never viewed Bert and Ernie as a gay couple, but as two friends who will do absolutely anything to get their rocks off. These pansexual perverts cannot be categorized in your narrow gay, straight, or bisexual paradigm. They're into some pretty sick shit." On their website, PBS released a long list of the duo's strange sexual fetishes, which range from shoving ice into their anuses so that they can shit cold water into women's mouths, to castrating stray dogs and then masturbating onto the animals' bleeding wounds. Although they're flattered that fans have turned the characters into gay icons, the producers explained that calling them gay would be inaccurate. Quote, "They will literally f*** anything that moves." The producers also added that Oscar the Grouch is neither male nor female, and that its trash can is designed to hide a lower body that is just a Lovecraftian monstrosity of hundreds of interlocking penises and vaginas.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It is Free Talk Live. We're launching into the second hour of the program. You are welcome to join us here. Talk about whatever's on your mind. 855-450 free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We've got Skype, and the Skype username here is LRN.FM. With you in the studio tonight, I'm Ian.
Bob.
And Melanie.
We, again, will take your calls about anything you want to talk about. First hour of the show was mostly about cannabis and various different aspects of it, from the fact that it is now legal in California to purchase it at various different licensed facilities. However, San Francisco and Los Angeles did not have their licensing procedures in place locally, so no one in those cities could go and buy cannabis today. But nonetheless,
they could if they drove out of L.A.
Well, right. I'm not sure in which areas it was available, but it was definitely available at several different locations, and they had hundreds of people lined up outside waiting to get in to be some of the first to buy legal recreational cannabis. And of course, as you pointed out in the last hour, Bob, that previously in California, the medical program was so easy to get into. Has there really been that much that's changed by the fact that it's recreational
But
now?
I think the major change is now you don't have to go register to buy it.
That's true.
Because I don't know that you had to qualify in reality. My understanding is you just went to the doctor and was like, hey, I want to buy weed. And the doctor is like, all right, here's a card.
It's pretty
but
much
then you
much.
still had to fill out the card and get on the list, and maybe you don't want to do that.
I mean, they're still going to be checking IDs and probably have some sort of database.
Okay, but it's more like Sudafed and less like a registry.
Right.
Yeah, although I do wonder. I mean, are they collecting information at the register? I don't know.
They're. I mean, whenever government degenerates get into that sort of thing, generally, yeah, they want to get as much information as possible so they can use it against people if they want to.
So one of the dispensary owners, this is a story from CNN, one of the dispensary owners said he really stocked up expecting a huge turnout because he said that they've seen in other states once they go recreational, most of the dispensaries will sell out on the first or second day. State and local taxes add a hefty chunk to the price, and depending on where it's bought, taxes can add as much as 45% to the cost. But even though the taxes are a hefty chunk, and that's certainly true in Washington and Colorado, for instance, but the fact is competition brings prices down. I mean, you used to, in the black marketplace, it's not uncommon to pay $300 for an ounce of cannabis in the black market. I'm talking about high quality, the kind of quality that you're going to get at a dispensary. You don't get cheap weed anymore if you've got dispensaries. Right. It's all good quality product. But they bring the prices down despite all those taxes because it's pretty much open competition compared to underground black market competition where you've got to be very secretive and quiet and nobody can know about the grow facilities and you can only tell so many people or you get busted. And so there's so many different risks that are associated with growing and selling cannabis that all of the people whose hands it passes through, every single middleman has to mark it up. And this is true of all drugs, illegal drugs, that each middleman has to mark up the product to the point where they feel it's worth their risk. Because they're risking prison from taking, 1 pound of pot or whatever and then selling it to somebody else. They're risking prison, so they got to mark it up a certain amount. Well, none of those markups exist, and fewer middlemen exist when it comes to the legal marketplace. So I see a picture here in this article taken at one of the, Harborside marijuana dispensaries in Oakland, where they've got like a television screen with a big advertisement on it. It says, Victory, Cannabis for All, Day 1 deals, $150 per ounce. So that's half the price of what you might have paid for an ounce of cannabis on the black market. And so, again, half of that might be taxes. So that really says that they've gotten down the production's there.
It's probably more than half taxes.
Yeah. Well, they said it's probably at least 45% or as much as 45% of the cost. Customers at Buddy's could pick up a half ounce of homemade cherry pie for about $260. So I guess there's a range. Probably depends on the the strain that you're getting.
Right.
Blue Dream is about half that price, so $130. Many customers pick up an eighth of an ounce for anywhere between $25 to $60. Massachusetts will begin selling retail marijuana July 1st, so I hadn't heard that. Yeah. It sounds like they're getting everything in order there. Maine has also approved it through their ballot initiative, but there is at this time no set date to begin legal sales. Other states that allow the sale of recreational cannabis are Colorado, Washington, Oregon, Alaska, and Nevada. More retail shops are certain to open soon in California. The Bureau of Cannabis Control, so apparently they didn't hand it over to the Liquor Commission there, which issues licenses from the state, has handed out about 200 licenses by the end of last week, according to their spokesbureaucrat. As far as he's concerned, the first day has been a success since he hasn't been besieged with calls and emails. Quote, "That's huge because I'm certain we'd be getting a ton of calls if things weren't working. So far, so good." So congratulations to the folks out there in California. That's some good news. But Melanie, you had some not so good news. You actually had, I think it was a list of some of the laws that are going into effect across the whole country, or just California?
The main one was, or the main one to me, it was California. And I didn't read the whole statute. I'm not going to. They also added some new drug law, gun laws today. I don't necessarily feel like those things are unrelated on top of California's already kind of really horrible.
Yeah, they're one of the worst
laws.
states to be a gun owner.
And I just kind of only have an overview of that. You can no longer get ammo from out of state.
What?
You can't mail order ammo.
Wow.
Even from in-state. And they banned all fictional assault weapons. That's not
fictional assault weapon.
They banned assault weapons. I don't know what they're referring to, since that's not a type of weapon. I don't know exactly. Yeah. I'm sure that's defined in some statute right
I'm pretty
there.
sure you could assault anybody with a weapon, depending on which weapon.
Most weapons are inanimate objects, so they don't tend to commit assolts.
And I said you could assault someone with the weapon.
I mean, that's kind of the point of a weapon.
It's like if I tell you, you're not allowed to bring fairy knives into my house. Like, well, what the hell does that mean?
I don't know. I've never
it's
seen
not
a fairy
type of knife. If I tell you,
is that a knife that a gay person would hang on to?
It's something I made up just now.
Okay.
So if I tell you can't bring a butter knife or a steak knife,
got it,
or a butterfly knife or a hatchet, we all know what those are. Those are types of knives that exist. There's no such knife as a fairy knife.
There is now.
There's not.
You just made it up.
There's no such gun as assault gun. There are a couple of states that define assault rifle or assault gun in their statute. They all define it differently. So whatever that means, I don't know. It's banned now. And that those two things kind of unfortunately tends to happen in a lot of states at the same time or near the same time. And I've heard people even make arguments, well, if we're going to all be high, then we can't have guns. And it's like, okay, well, just because you have legal weed doesn't mean everyone is high all the time.
Right.
You have legal other drugs.
I mean, I'd much rather somebody who's high have a gun than somebody who's drunk.
I would agree with you there. Yeah, definitely. Because cannabis doesn't tend to impair one's judgment in the same way that that drinking alcohol does. Although that said, better to not be impaired in any way if one has a gun. But yeah, if somebody's drunk and they've got a gun, that's a very dangerous, potentially very dangerous situation. So they've made it more difficult to bring ammunition into the state, meaning that you can't order from online anymore.
You can't order online, period.
Unless they're from
unless
they're
you
in
can't order
California?
online, period.
Wow.
And you can't buy. You can't go to Nevada and bring ammo back.
You can't truck it back in yourself.
Right.
Wow, that is crazy. And so that just so happened to go through at the same time as the legalization thing did.
Yeah, and that tends to be the argument, not that California is a big fan of guns in the first place, but that does tend to happen in a lot of places kind of together.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not an argument against weed legalization. Obviously, nothing should be criminal, but
sure.
Inanimate objects definitely shouldn't be criminal.
Yeah, no, it's just an observation of what tends to happen here, and I don't know if we're going to be able to avoid that either here in New Hampshire. I mean, New Hampshire's a very gun-friendly place, but they still have that that prohibitionist mentality that, oh my God,
weed is a dangerous drug and we've got to be so careful with it, and we can't possibly allow somebody who's ever had weed to ever have a gun. I mean, there are people who have that mentality even here, so it is going to be a challenge to keep them separated or allow people to own both, if you will. Right. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE.
Thinking about getting into cryptocurrency but feel overwhelmed by the high price of Bitcoin? Or maybe you've used Bitcoin in the past, but were turned off by the high transaction fees and slow transfer times. It's time you looked into Dash. Dash is digital international money that you can send anywhere, anytime for less than a nickel. With Dash, your transactions can be instant and private. Dash offers a fully incentivized and decentralized peer-to-peer network where miners are rewarded for keeping the network fast, strong, and safe for its users. Start your journey at Dash.org. Since its launch in 2014, Dash has made a huge impact in the crypto world and is showing no signs of stopping. Check out Dash.org for more information about Dash and get in now on the future of cryptocurrency. Dash.org.
Cryptocurrencies are successful because of good technology. The liberty-loving voluntarists who founded Zencash in 2017 took the best tech, like zero-knowledge anonymity and decentralized autonomous organizations, and are creating a secure platform for money, messages, and media that can be sent to anyone, anywhere in the world. Zencash is a cryptocurrency dedicated to peace, anonymity, and decentralization. Find out more at zencash.com. That's zencash.com.
The Bitcoin.com wallet is a simple and powerful full-featured Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Core wallet that allows you to send and receive either currency with anyone, anywhere in the world. The Bitcoin.com wallet supports both single and multi-signature wallets and is available in multiple languages. Download the Bitcoin.com wallet for easy and secure access to your Bitcoin Core and your Bitcoin Cash. The Bitcoin.com wallet is available for Android, iOS, Windows, Mac, and even Linux. Learn more at Bitcoin.com. That's Bitcoin.com.
If you're looking for work, it's a process of elimination, and you're trying not to be eliminated. So here's a tip for making the cut, and this might seem subtle, but to the person interviewing you, it's not. There is a world of difference between applicants who convey, "I need a job," and those who simply ooze, "I want to work," especially in these lean times when many you're competing with will seem desperate in "I'll take anything" mode. If you convey specific interest in this job at this company, you will be conspicuous. Thus, the value of going to school on the company you're applying to before the interview. With money and attention so tight now, effective communication skills have never been more important. For more tips for job seekers and everyone else, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
The three most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share one episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program. It's my firm belief that Free Talk Live's AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented organizations. Support all the organizations you love, but make sure you give $5 a month to AMP at amp.freetalklive.com.
Ross Ulbricht was convicted in early 2015 of running the infamous Silk Road Underground Market. The Silk Road was a gift to humanity and helped reduce the harms brought on by drug prohibition. For this good deed, Ross has been sentenced to life in prison with no possibility of parole. Now, an appeal is Ross's only chance, and he needs your support. Please visit freeross.org, where you can contribute via various methods, including Bitcoin. Visit freeross.org. That's freeross.org.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. You may dial toll-free here. Our number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. As we ring in the new year, Ron Paul's got a few words to say. We'll share those with you about what he's looking forward to in 2018. And speaking of Ron Paul, I'm looking forward to seeing him speak at Anarchapulco this year. He's going to be the keynote speaker at this year's event. It's the 4th Anarchapulco, where they're going to be making anarchy great again. And they'll be featuring lots of great speakers, not just Ron Paul, but also G. Edward Griffin, Jeffrey Tucker, Roger Ver, Larkin Rose, Jeff Berwick, Bruce Fenton, Brett Venat, Julia Taransky, Dana Martin, Juan Galt, Adam Kokesh, Kerry Wedler, Vit Yedlika, and Sterling Lujan. Plus live music from Jordan Page, Backwards, Rob Hustle, and more. It's all happening in Acapulco, Mexico at the beautiful Princess Resort, February 15th through the 18th for the main event. But there are also ancillary related events that you can attend. You've got to pay extra for them, but you can go to the Health and Wellness Retreat, the Change Media University with Luke Radowski, and even an Amazonian ceremony, which you can learn more about all of those. And they've got more than that, so go and check it out at anarchapulco.com. You can use code FTL for 10% off of the main event, which does include Cryptopulco. The final day of Anarchapulco, the 18th of February, will be the Cryptopulco Day, where all of the speeches will be focused on cryptocurrency. So check it out, get registered, use code FTL to do it over at anarchapulco.com. We'll look forward to seeing you there because Free Talk Live will be broadcasting from the event, again, February 15th through the 18th, and that's anarchapulco.com. So our toll-free number here tonight is 855-450-FREE. Joining you in the studio, it's Ian,
Bob,
and Melanie.
So we can continue to talk about alcohol or guns and cannabis if you want. You're always welcome to call in. But since we were talking about Ron Paul here, I saw this earlier today from the Ron Paul Institute at ronpaulinstitute.org, ostensibly written by Ron Paul himself, the weekly column that he writes. Happy New Year, he says. We always approach a new year with anticipation, hope, and also some worries. Last year was one of the strangest political years I have seen in quite some time. A new Republican president spent his first year pursuing more or less the same foreign policy as his Democratic predecessor, which nobody should really be surprised about. I mean, after all, Barack Obama pursued the same foreign policy as his predecessor.
He pursued basically the same foreign policy as his.
Right. You know, the only question is how much did the body count add up under each one of these terrible human beings. So we'll continue here with Ron Paul. Your calls and thoughts are also welcome, by the way. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. But going on, Ron says, and the Democratic Party spent the year looking under every rock in the United States for a Russian connection or any other reason to see him impeached over it. The neocon-dominated foreign policy establishment on both the left and the right were so furious that candidate Trump dared suggest we could get along with our enemies overseas that they jumped on the impeachment bandwagon, even though once he became president, Donald Trump filled his administration with neocons and began dropping bombs. Like peace candidate Obama, Donald Trump quickly dropped his get along with others rhetoric because he did say during his campaign that he, supported peace. And obviously that's not what's happening. He says here, so he dropped his get along with others rhetoric to become just another aggressive interventionist U.S. president. He slammed missiles into Syria over unproven claims of a chemical attack. He built U.S. military bases on Syrian soil. He dropped the mother of all bombs on Afghanistan. He continued helping Saudi Arabia destroy Yemen. He expanded the U.S. military occupation of Africa. He put NATO troops on the border of Russia and did his best to tear up the Iran nuclear agreement and, in fact, may have just launched a color revolution on Iran and continued rattling sabers over China's presence in the South China Sea. That tells us quite a bit about what's wrong with American political life these days. The opposition party doesn't really oppose the other party's policies. They're just angry that the other party is in power. With no real philosophical or policy differences, politics is essentially pointless. It's a game of spoils for the well-connected and a little more than a sporting event for the rest of the country. Everyone wants to see his team come out on top. But again, as we pointed out here, whoever wins, we all lose.
Unless it's William Henry Harrison, greatest president ever.
Is that because he died shortly after?
Yes, he did the least harm, therefore he was the best.
what is it, a matter of days before he croaked?
30 days, and he was sick in bed the whole time. I wish all the politicians would
the same
follow his lead, or even better, commit seppuku as part of their oath of office.
That would be nice, but unfortunately, it's not working out that way for us. Ron Paul says that he does, despite all of this, have much hope for 2018. He says, I know we're continuing to make steady progress, waking up the American people to the idea that ideas do matter. Our interventionist foreign policy, responsible for so much misery around the world, is not inevitable. Our destructive economic and monetary policies, which enrich the well-connected while impoverishing the rest of us, are not inevitable. The further destruction of our right to privacy, to live our lives as we see fit, to pursue our own happiness without the government looking over our shoulder, is not inevitable. We can turn this around. In 2018, I strongly believe more Americans will wake up to the seriousness of the total debt the U.S. is facing and will begin blaming Washington for pumping up the warfare welfare state. I believe more Americans will understand the role of the Federal Reserve in facilitating this ocean of debt. We will continue to make progress toward ending the Fed. While the media loves to tell us about how the millennials are attracted to discredited ideas like Bernie Sanders' socialism and the dead end of cultural Marxism, I believe 2018 will demonstrate that young people are actually attracted to the ideas of liberty more than ever. Liberty is a new idea and a winning idea. I don't know if it's a new idea, but to them it's new. While the twin tyrannies of socialism and cultural Marxism should remain in the same dustbin of history they were tossed into more than 25 years ago. In 2018, he says, my Institute for Peace and Prosperity will be reaching more people than ever with plenty of new projects, events, and, of course, our daily Liberty Report. He says, yes, we will turn this around and liberty will prevail. Well, I appreciate the optimism from Ron Paul. I don't think that it's going to all happen in 2018, but I'm glad to hear that he feels
be a lot cooler if it did.
It would be amazing, and you never know, when you're going to hit that point of saturation on a growth curve, right, where you're trickling along and it's going to get new converts and people are coming on board with whatever the idea or the thing or the product is that we're talking about, in this case, the idea of liberty and human freedom. At what point is it going to get that point of saturation where enough people know what liberty is, where enough people understand what it is and have embraced that idea and actually want to do something about it?
I'm not even entirely sure that it necessarily needs that. We've seen with the rise of the internet more and more decentralization, and a lot of these people who are supporting a lot of decentralized things, whether it be cryptocurrencies or many other things, they don't understand the ideas of liberty, but in a lot of ways they're still fighting for them.
I get what you're saying. By getting into cryptocurrency, you may not be a libertarian. You might just want to get money.
Right. Even more than that, it's just so decentralization has become such a useful thing because of competition on the internet.
There's more coming up here. You can share your thoughts with us on the future of freedom in America. Ron Paul, he's optimistic. What about you? This is Free Talk Live.
Fully cooked, ready-to-eat bacon. I'm talking thick, meaty, center-cut presidential bacon. Savory and delicious. I buy some, I use some, I store some. Awesome. No refrigeration needed with a 10-year shelf life. NASA-packed technology. Bacon. Fully cooked, fully hydrated, ready to eat right from the packed bacon. Or warm and served. Life-saving, ready-to-eat bacon. 10-year shelf life bacon. Ships free at fullycookedbacon.com. Fullycookedbacon.com.
Anytime, any place, anywhere, radio remains the most intimate of all forms of media. At home, at work, in the car, on smartphones. Over 90% of consumers still listen to radio every week. That makes choosing radio as a place to advertise your business one of the best decisions you can make. Email advertise@gcnlive.com and partner up with an experienced GCN representative. Advertise@gcnlive.com. Easy, affordable, effective.
Free Talk Live.
There's going to be no food by February.
Oh, that seems a little extreme. I find that hard to believe.
Well, watch it happen. Hope you find Christ.
Oh, good luck, buddy. Thanks.
What really turned me away from religion was the fact that most of them are so intolerant and nasty.
What do you
Your
mean?
life will suck unless you find Jesus. Well, I had Jesus a long time ago, and he didn't really do anything for me, so I got away from that.
Right, and I can tell you that if you want to have that attitude with people, like,
Good
well,
luck
you better find Christ, or you're going to burn in hell.
Yeah.
Then
Good luck converting people.
Yeah, I really want to hang out with people like you, there, Keith. I really want to hang out with people like you. So I'm sorry to those good Christians out there listening that aren't like Keith. But it's the loudmouths like Keith that do real damage to your religion and how people feel about it.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com. Did you know you can watch Free Talk Live during our live show 7 days a week from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern via our studio cams at cam.freetalklive.com? Plus, you can chat with other listeners while you watch, all totally free. Now that our live video stream is hosted by YouTube, our video archives will be online even faster, so be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Listen, watch, and chat all free at cam.freetalklive.com. That's cam.freetalklive.com. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
Free Talk Live. You dial toll-free if you want. You can join us here on the radio. Bring up anything that's on your mind. Our number here is 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733. And if you want to help build a better financial system for everyone, join Dash. Dash is Digital Cash, a digital money platform designed to replace cash and help people manage their own wealth. It's fast and easy. Fees are low. Transactions are quick and can be confirmed instantly. You can pay anyone, anywhere in the world, anytime for just pennies on the dollar. And Dash is decentralized and run by users who earn rewards for helping run the network and make governance decisions. Anyone can invest in Dash and earn rewards for helping run the Dash network. So join Dash and help create a better financial system for everyone. Take back control over your financial future today and find out more at Dash.org. There's a lot of momentum behind Dash right now. Go to Dash.org and find out why. We were talking about Ron Paul and his predictions for 2018. I mean, he's not getting specific, but he does say that he thinks that more Americans are going to wake up to the seriousness of the total debt and will blame Washington for pumping up the welfare state. He says more Americans will understand the role of the Federal Reserve in facilitating this ocean of debt. And he believes that 2018 will be a good year for liberty because it'll demonstrate somehow that young people are attracted to the ideas of liberty rather than socialism. Of course, the reality is we know both are true. There are young people who are definitely attracted to the idea of socialism because there's those of them who just want to mooch, who just want to live off of the efforts of others, and those are the kinds of people who are going to be attracted to the ideas of forced wealth redistribution.
Yeah, I always find it very ironic when socialists try to claim that capitalists are greedy. It's like They believe that they should be able to not serve other people, but still be
still
served.
live. Yeah.
Like, whereas the people who believe in capitalism are like, yeah, to be served, I have to serve others.
That's true.
And like, that's inherently ungreedy. Whereas, like, this position of, hey, you should give me food and shelter and clothing and everything else that I want, but I shouldn't have to do anything for you in return. That is the epitome of greed.
I get your point. I think that's generally true, but I won't say that everybody who's a capitalist is not greedy.
Oh no, absolutely, absolutely.
So I mean, I think that you're right, though, that ultimately, even a greedy person who is in search of as much profit as they can possibly attain, they need to understand that the best way to achieve that is to serve people, is to give people what they want.
I don't really care if people are greedy. You want to be greedy all day long. If you think you need 5 Lamborghinis, good for you. I care if you're a thief.
Right.
Are you a thief or not? That is the question. Not are you greedy.
Yeah.
I could care less if you're greedy. If you were to work, if we had some free society and you were to work 20 hours a week and live or 15 hours a week and live like a bare minimum versus you want to work 80 hours a week and have 3 mansions, I don't care.
Right.
I care, are you going to rob me? Or are you going to rob him? Or are you going to rob somebody else? That's the real question.
Absolutely.
So that's why I am, a free market advocate. I don't consider myself a capitalist. I support whatever it is people want to do, so long as it's peaceful. So if you want to have a commune on your land, then by all means, go ahead and have a commune. If you want to be
I'm going to laugh at you because it's probably going to fail, because that's
it
what
probably
they tend
I
to do.
mean, good luck with that.
But not all of them do.
If you own land and that's what you want to do, have at it.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Well, I mean, it's likely going to fail, but there are some communes that are still in existence and have been around and have had, some whatever it looks like to be a success. I guess to be a successful commune, you just have to stay around. I don't know if there's any other I don't know if there's any other measurement.
Starve to death or whatnot. Yeah.
Are you still producing food? Are you able to eat and be okay?
Yeah, but as long as people are allowed to leave freely if they want to, and whatnot, that they're not being held against their will or some such. Then, yeah.
So that's why I like to see, as a free marketeer, somebody who supports openness in markets and allowing competition.
Right.
If you get somebody who is greedy and they've got a market position that is very established and dominant, and let's say they start to cut the quality of their product or start to treat their employees in a way that is unacceptable or inappropriate, the best thing to do is to compete with that person, to provide a better option rather than complain like some people will do and ask the government to solve the problem of the bad employer. You just go out there and do it better.
Right. Well, or it's or you say something about it. Have the market take care of it. The market being
that's how it takes care of it.
Right. Well,
through competition.
That's one way.
Yeah.
But
or boycotts.
United when they had the situation with the police coming on and beating
the guy.
That
dude.
Yeah. They lost like $2 billion because of that in just a couple weeks. And that was entirely because of market forces of people being like, no, I don't want to do business with you. I'd rather, even if I have to pay a little bit extra, I'd rather do business with these guys.
Yeah, so your business environment is going to be as moral as your population. So if you have people who are like, I'll just go buy the cheapest one and I don't care, then you're going to have horrible conditions, wages that don't make sense, people being mistreated, people being defrauded as employees, whatever they can get away with.
But one honest person with the ability to compete in a situation like that can be a game changer, because if the honest person comes in or the good person comes in and they offer a competitive product in that same industry against the established person that you're talking about, then that established greedy cheapskate or whoever, he's got to make a decision. Does he keep losing his customers to this new competitor, or does he start treating his employees better?
You still need the customer base to be moral, because if people don't care one way or the other and they keep giving money to this person, because very few things have a true monopoly naturally. Some things are granted a state, Comcast is granted a state monopoly, but very few things. It's not like there's only one place to get bread or only one place to get chicken. Even those things that have quote unquote natural monopoly, it's only if you really narrowly define that product. Because if it's the other things that could
fill a similar niche. They don't.
But monopolies are very rare if they exist at all in nature.
The marketplace.
Right.
So if people are still willing to, if it's the same product for the same price, and people are still willing to shop at the horrible guy, guess what? That's what's going to be in business.
I get what you're saying. You're saying the people and their morality is a big factor
Absolutely.
here. And I don't think
almost the only factor, because if people are like, I'm not going to give this person money because they're an evil, horrible person, then there's nothing for them to do business with. They're just sitting in their office all alone, not having any business to do, and they'll have to either act right or go do something else.
I think most people are good, so I don't think we have a problem where any given area is full of all these immoral people. It tends to be the immoral people.
Well, that doesn't make sense based on the governments that exist and based on the corporations that exist.
Well, what you see is a lot of people get lazy because things like the FDA exist. And so the FDA is like, oh, hey, this thing's safe. And they're just like, okay. Sure, and just go along with it.
Yeah.
Or just
okay, but I don't see a difference between somebody who says,
One at a time.
I know that this is evil and I'm going to give it my money anyway, versus somebody who says, I don't care enough to look into it, even though I have the internet in my hand, and so I'm going to give it my money. Those aren't distinct to me.
Well, they are, because there's going to be a different solution for both of them. Practically, they're not different. But they do have...
They're not morally different either, because in one hand you have somebody who has information and is choosing to disregard it, and on the other hand you have somebody who knows that information is available and is choosing to disregard it.
That's fair, but there is a distinction, and then there's a different solution.
I don't think that the person who's not bothering to find out on purpose is gonna care if they do know.
I don't think that's the case, because I think just a lot of people have been made lazy by government licensing and whatnot.
Now, Melanie, are you saying that you think that, because the comment you made earlier about the corporations and this and that, and morality, are you saying that most people are immoral?
I think most people probably are.
Really?
In a practical sense, I think that's true. I think most people are well-intentioned, but they act immorally because they're used to the state system.
But then what you're saying is everyone is incredibly stupid.
All right, hold on. Let's talk about this. I think it's an interesting discussion, and then we'll talk about libertarian women and why there aren't more of them here in
I
moments.
hope we won't talk about that.
It's Free Talk Live.
Crimes of the Crown by Captain Mark. The Crown casts the world in shadow and claims to be our guiding light. Cowards clamor for security from boogeymen and ghost stories. While I say these hobgoblins are imaginary, I say those they propped up as our liberators are now subsisting on our bondage. I say there is freedom in the black, and that's exactly where we intend to go. The Crown banishes its own officers for exposing its crimes and tortures dissidents to the brink of madness. It dominates the globe and swallows the wealth of generations, leaving only blood and excrement. The Crown calls it piracy to explore frontiers beyond its grasp. So the time has come for us to define the conduct among pirates. I say the Crown has trampled our necks long enough. Need decentralized solutions to centralized problems? Looking for a community of like-minded scoundrels? Or just want some swag to let the Crown know what you think of it? Join the conversation at pirateswithoutborders.com. We won't be hard to find.
This is Dan Pilla. Do you owe the IRS money you can't pay? Are tax debts crippling you? I've defended people from the IRS for over 30 years. I've helped thousands, and I can help you too. I wrote the book on IRS settlement, and I'm telling you, there's no such thing as a hopeless case. Call 800-34-NO-TAX to finally get free of IRS debt. With the IRS's new programs, there's never been a better time to solve your problem. Call 800-34-NO-TAX. That's 800-34-NO-TAX, or my website, danpilla.com.
If you or someone you care about loves outdoor adventure, then check out slingbow.com for some unique holiday gift ideas. That's slingbow.com, where we have some innovative new products for the archer, hunter, or bow fishing enthusiast in your family. Now through January, use the promo code HOLIDAY to get free shipping in the U.S. or Canada. And from all of us at Slingbow Industries, have a safe, joyous, and peaceful holiday season.
Hi, I'm Derek J. To me, an activist's calling is to actively work to advance a cause. The cause for which I work is personal freedom. I believe my life is best when I engage in voluntary interactions and self-government. I reject the idea that anyone else has a higher claim to my life or my body than I do. I see people who call themselves the government as a threat to my personal freedom. I realize you may feel differently, but my relationship with the people who call themselves the government is completely involuntary. If Starbucks used some of its money to drop bombs, I wouldn't shop there. So why would I support the American empire? The empire does not require my consent.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. That's victimlesscrimespree.com. Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447. The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. You may dial toll free to join us here on the radio and bring up anything that you want. Our number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Here tonight, it's Ian.
Bob.
And Melanie.
And you can call in on Skype. Our Skype username is LRN.FM. You'll sound like you're almost sitting in the studio with us if you're on Skype. So be sure to avail yourself of that option if you have it. You do need to send a contact request to us here first, and we will approve it. As soon as we notice it come in, you'll be good to go to call from that point forward. And also, don't forget, you can join us online over at freetalklive.com. We've got a webcam, which you can watch live, or if you want, you can watch the video feeds from that cam later on via our YouTube channel. Just go to cam.freetalklive.com to find that. That's cam.freetalklive.com. As we continue, we were talking about big companies, capitalism versus socialists versus the free market, and you had mentioned greed, Bob, and I was pointing out that, well, just because somebody's a capitalist doesn't mean they're not greedy. They could very well be greedy, but those people are checked by competition.
Right.
It's competition that is the biggest check on greed, but Melanie made this argument that if the people of a given area are inherently immoral people, then they won't care about what, the evil, greedy person who's running some mega corporation is doing, and so therefore nothing will ever change. I don't want to put words in your mouth.
I don't know that I'm not willing to say that nothing will ever change, because even kind of your amoral people will get random flights of, I'm going to be a good person this month, and boycott something for a month and then kind of get bored with it.
I want to hear your argument that you don't believe that most people are good people. This is contrary to my belief system in general. I think that all the evidence.
Your belief system has a statistical analysis of the population built into it.
No, it's all
that's
case
what
studies.
Saying most
it's
people
all
are
just,
good or bad.
It's all just looking at observing reality. I mean, you don't see widespread murder, widespread violence, widespread
no, because that
stealing.
feels bad. You see widespread signing off of murder, widespread narking, widespread support of the state, widespread looking the other way.
Hold on, just because somebody supports the state doesn't make them evil. It could just make them ignorant.
It does make them immoral, but yes, not necessarily evil. Most of them are well-intentioned,
right?
But they are committing an act of evil by supporting the state.
Well, I mean,
but
is it an act to not have thought about something? I mean, it's more of a lack of an act.
In the information age, yeah, it kind of is.
If somebody is literally neither a statist nor an anarchist, meaning they have no position on the matter, I don't know how you accomplish that, but then they're not really, because you have no duty to defend others.
Mm-hmm.
Whether or not I think you should, you have no duty to. So, yeah, okay, then you're have no moral status.
You have no moral compass whatsoever.
No. You have no. You're not acting morally or immorally. So that's no moral against or for you in that judgment. But I don't think that's most people.
I don't think that just because somebody hasn't become a total anarchist or voluntarist or whatever, that somebody hasn't rejected the state completely makes them inherently an immoral person. They may be tacitly supporting an immoral act, meaning that the state is based on immorality, the state is based on violence, aggressive violence against peaceful people, but many people they don't realize that, and they are so inculcated with the belief of the state that even when you point it out to them, they won't see it. They don't want to. It's the cognitive dissonance kicks in, and they cannot. The average
it feels
person,
bad to think about reality.
Well, no, because it feels bad to come to the conclusion that you would have supported immorality. That you
okay,
throughout
but
your whole
everybody
life,
in this room did that at one point.
I don't
so
know.
It's
I've kind
not
of been
like
anti-authority
a magical thing that.
For a long time.
No, but if I remember correctly, you've said that you started out more conservative.
I mean, I was raised in a Republican household, but I've always been anti-authority.
I mean, it depends on what
but I wasn't anti-state because I hadn't gotten that far.
And it depends on what we're talking about. Are we talking about somebody who just kind of like vaguely supports the state and doesn't really do anything about it either way and just goes about their life? Or are we talking about somebody who calls the cops on suspicious activity?
Yeah, we're
or
talking about
calls
the
CPS,
average person who's not a
but
snitch.
the average people will call the state for ridiculous stuff.
It depends.
I don't know.
I don't know about that. And it's going to depend where you are.
A lot of people here in New Hampshire want to be left alone, and they respect leaving other people alone.
Special though.
It is. It is a special place.
So out of all humans, I mean, you can't say, well, New Hampshire doesn't. That doesn't really.
Well, the only person.
Humans.
Well, yeah, I guess I can't use New Hampshire as an example because I was going to say the only person who's ever called the state on me in this neighborhood was one of the city employees. So
So the state called itself on you.
Yeah.
But.
But
even still, people just don't care because they're not doing anything to, and not even this, whether it's the state or whether it's pick anything. There's lots of horrible things going on. How much is your average person doing to fight it, or how complacent are they in it? Do they care if they're supporting it fiscally?
Many people don't even pay attention to politics. They don't know what's going on.
I'm not saying
they're
not
just working.
politics.
They're trying to get their bills paid. They're trying to take care of their kids. They're trying to, enjoy a little bit of leisure time, and then, they have to go back to work.
I think most people don't care if the products that they buy came from slave labor.
I don't know. That's an interesting question.
I mean, a lot of people do buy diamonds still, which are still mostly slave labor.
Yep, unless they're manufactured, they are slave. It's probably slave labor.
There's a few diamonds that come out of Canada, but the vast majority of diamonds came from slave labor, and we know this, and people say this out loud.
Yep.
They know, and they do not care. I have argued this with people.
Well,
and they don't. It's not that they don't know. They know. They admit that they know. They do not care. They do not care that they are enslaving and killing children because they want something that's shiny.
Do you think more people care about factory farming techniques than slave labor?
And how does that hurt people?
I'm just asking if you think that
probably is true.
You're saying more people care about that.
Right, like free range chickens.
I don't know. That wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
Because I've known some pretty hardcore leftists we need to have welfare programs and animal rights and this, that, the other, and then they go buy a diamond bracelet, and I'm like, what the hell?
A lot of people want to see innocence in animals, which is kind of a silly position.
Right, because many animals will kill you.
Right.
Have the opportunity.
Yeah. Absolutely. The cow will run you down just as quickly as not.
Yeah, if that kitty cat was 10 times the size, or
you'd be dead. Yeah.
All right. So the toll-free number here, if you want to join us, is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. I don't know, Melanie. I think that if you don't think that people are generally moral, how can you ever expect to have freedom win?
Okay, so if you have a bunch of immoral people who are lazy and do immoral things and don't care, step one, don't give them a military.
Right.
Yeah, we're not talking about step one here. We're talking about how is freedom going to ever become a thing? Like, that's why we're all doing this, right? Is that we hope that at some point the ideas of liberty will catch on and that enough people will absorb them. It doesn't have to be everyone.
I mean, maybe people will get better. I don't know. Hopefully, once we quit giving 4-year-olds to the state, maybe people will get better. Maybe they won't. I don't know. Yeah. So, at some point, I don't expect to ever see this.
Right. How are you going to stop having people's children given over to the state? You're talking about the education, the state indoctrination system, I suspect, when you say that. How are you ever going to get to that point unless you change people's minds first about it? You're not going to be able to foist the
because some people care, so that's what I'm doing.
I think it's more accurate to say that people are generally inherently good.
I think so.
But
then
they're
sometimes
flawed.
they commit slavery
right,
because
funsies. They're flawed and
because ignorance.
They're flawed,
they're ignorant. They know it.
They're damaged. People I think are inherently good, but they have
but somebody who's going around committing recreational slavery is not a good person. I don't care what their inherent nature is. Somebody who is calling the cops on a drug deal is not a good person. I don't care if they were born that way or if they were born a good person or not. The people as is that exist that I've come across, the majority of them are amoral at best, which I don't see it as being different than immoral.
You're going to have a problem then. I mean,
you have to remember though that we still live in a barbaric society. We haven't achieved civilization yet.
Right. And so what does that say about the population if it's a barbaric society?
Yeah, right. Even though we're here in the 21st century and have all this amazing technology, we're not that far above monkeys throwing dung at one another. No, right?
Absolutely not. I mean, the state system is still a system based in might makes right. It's I have a gun, therefore do what I say, or else I'm gonna use this gun to force you into rape cage.
And if we ever want to change that, and we can continue the discussion. If you want to weigh in, you can join us at 855-450-FREE. If we ever want to change how people view the state into the way that we view it as a criminal gang, a violent group of people, we've got to be able to persuade those folks and touch whatever morality they do have. It's Free Talk Live.
It's about time something new came along for better selling and buying online. And I found it.
What now, Marge?
It's buysellmakeoffer.com.
Never heard of it.
It's a brand new company. That's why you've never heard of it. It's the newest and best way to sell any products online. I did all the research.
Sell my car?
Yes.
Our home?
Yep.
My golf bag?
Your golf clubs. All of them.
How about your purse collection hoard?
Hey, now.
You said any product.
Right. I did. We get 30 days free.
Really?
Packages starting from only $9.95. And buysellmakeoffer.com will never charge item fees, ever. Never. And this is cool. Listen to this. You can even use Skype or video to show your items.
That's cool.
Yes. All we have to do is go to the website, sign up, and then load our stuff to sell. I love this site.
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. You got it?
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. Better selling, better buying.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up in any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Monday, January 1st, 2018. Silver is trading at $16.93 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,303 per ounce. Zencash is trading at $57, and the average price of Bitcoin is $13,447. Antiwar.com reports the latest in a series of Saudi airstrikes killing a number of civilian bystanders in Yemen saw warplanes attack a popular restaurant in the port of Hodeidah on Saturday, killing at least 20 and wounding a number of others. The attacks in the Al Jarahi district targeted the crowded restaurant and destroyed 3 taxi cabs that were parked outside. Everyone in the cabs was killed and dozens of other casualties were reported in the restaurant. Saudi officials offered no indication why the strikes targeted the restaurant, though this isn't particularly surprising, as the Saudis have rarely offered comments in recent weeks related to their strikes that kill civilians. Attacking Hodeidah has become increasingly common, however, with Saudi forces trying to soften up the defenses of the last port held by the Northern Houthi movement. Such strikes, however, have tended to target civilian infrastructure.
Are you looking for a cryptocurrency that has a focus on users and usability? Then look into Zencash. Zencash has the ability to use both transparent and shielded transactions, with shielded transactions using zero-knowledge proofs. Zencash features global governance with inclusive decision-making, reliable funding for continuous improvements, and documentation and wallets in many languages that are available for Linux, Mac, Windows, and Android devices. Learn more at zensystem.io. That's zensystem.io.
UPI reports a federal court in December ruled in favor of a California high school student who kneeled during the national anthem despite school rules forbidding protests during athletic events. The U.S. District Court for the Southern District of California temporarily struck down San Pasqual Valley Unified School District's rule against kneeling, sitting, or similar forms of political protest during sporting events and a requirement that students and coaches stand during the national anthem. The rule was imposed in October after an incident in which members of a rival high school team from Arizona yelled racial slurs at the San Pasqual Valley players who engaged in protest. San Pasqual Valley has a majority Latino and Native American population. San Pasqual Valley Unified School District Superintendent Ronna Fox told the Yuma Sun, "Our students were subjected to verbal assaults, other incidents including the throwing of water and the use of racial slurs and gestures. But a football player named only as VA in court documents filed a lawsuit against the school district on grounds that the rule violated his First Amendment rights." Attorney Katie Traverso, the attorney who represented VA, praised the court's decision, saying, "Students like our client who consciously carry their values and ideals with them cannot be silenced or directed on what to say or not to say by their school in this manner."
For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals. Gold, silver, platinum, and palladium. They don't feed the banks. They're Bitcoin preferred and have removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co.
Reuters reports Chief Justice John Roberts said on Sunday he would launch a review in 2018 of how the federal judiciary handles sexual harassment following the recent resignation of a U.S. appeals court judge amid allegations of inappropriate sexual conduct and comments. In his annual year-end report on the federal judiciary, Roberts said the judicial branch of government was not immune to incidents of sexual harassment, and addressing it would be a new challenge in the coming year. Allegations of systematic sexual harassment and assault that surfaced against movie producer Harvey Weinstein in 2017 galvanized women to speak out about instances of sexual harassment in the media, government, and workplaces across the country. Last month, renowned San Francisco-based federal appeals judge Alex Kozinski retired from his lifetime appointment after over a dozen women came forward to accuse him of inappropriate sexual conduct or comments. In a statement announcing his resignation, Kozinski said that while friends and family had urged him to stay on and defend himself, he could not be an effective judge and simultaneously fight this battle. Justice Roberts said he asked the federal judiciary's Director of Administrative Office to form a working group to examine the court's practices and recommend necessary changes to codes of conduct, employee guidance on reporting misconduct, and its own rules for investigating complaints. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
After months of struggling to find their footing, it looks like the GOP has finally found an effective spokesman. Since Republican leaders unveiled the reanimated corpse of Ronald Reagan at a fundraising event last week, the undead former president has quickly emerged as the new face of the Republican Party. Since Reagan was brought back from the grave by GOP leaders in a top-secret $2.2 million reanimation project, poll data shows Reagan with a higher favorability rating than all other high-profile Republicans combined.
The voters know Reagan. They trust Reagan. When he moans at them, they're going to listen.
There's questions as to whether he still has capacity for thought, and he does eat people, but big picture, he's the best option they have right now.
And appeared in a series of GOP ads promoting the Republican Party's traditional values.
Congress and the president say they're trying to help fix our country's economy. Ronald Reagan and the Republican Party have the right idea for America's future.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It's Free Talk Live. We're launching into the third hour of the program here, the very first episode for 2018. Open phones as always. If you want to join the discussion, you may do so. The toll-free number is 855-450, free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Joining you tonight, it's me, Ian.
Bob.
And Melanie.
So in the very end of the last hour, we were talking about morality and the morality or lack thereof in the average person. And Melanie, you are of a mindset, and again, correct me if I'm wrong in my understanding of what you said, but you are of the mindset that the average person is not a moral person, that they are supporting immorality, whether they are aware of it consciously or not.
Okay, so I wouldn't say that you can support morality. You can support evil acts and not be aware of it.
Okay.
Because if you go to the ice cream shop and it's locally owned and you're buying some ice cream and you think it's going to go support this guy's family, and then you come to find out he was actually an undercover CIA agent who was funding some CIA program. Yes, those dollars went there.
Yeah.
There was no way for you to know that.
It wasn't your intention.
Yeah, so that's not on you.
Mm-hmm.
If there's something that you can easily find out, and how easy it is kind of depends on your situation. So it's pretty much easy for me to find out anything I want, whereas somebody who's living in somewhere without internet, that's not necessarily the case.
Well, it's one thing to find a thing out. It's another thing to believe the thing, right? So you can go online and you can find out all kinds of claims about things that some people believe are true. I mean, just go to, the conspiracy theory websites. You can find out a lot of things, but do you believe the things
I'm
that
talking
you're
about
being told?
verified information. So if I go to Starbucks website and Starbucks is like, hey, did you know that we use prison labor to make our Christmas brew?
Is that true?
Yes.
Okay.
I wouldn't. That would be very mean to do to Starbucks if it wasn't true. That would be horrible.
So what do they do?
They use prison labor for their Christmas brew, like not the coffee in the shop, but like the packages that you can buy and take home. And they got found out.
Which country do they do that?
The U.S.
Okay. Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. So
I mean that's the
there's more slave labor in the States.
That's the whole point. I mean, if you look at the 13th Amendment, it has a very specific exception. It's like, well, the state can enslave you if it calls what you're doing a crime.
Oh yeah, I was a county slave when I was in jail for civil disobedience for 58 days back in 2011. Although I guess you could argue that I wasn't technically, because they could have just put me in segregation if I didn't go and do what they wanted me to do.
So, wait.
There's always an or. So if you didn't pick cotton, you could have just chose quotes to get beat to death instead.
Right.
That doesn't make it not slavery.
Yeah, not to mention
slavery.
Most places around the world consider solitary confinement to be torture. So yeah, it's either work for us for pennies a day or we torture you.
Well, they didn't even pay me.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you get pennies, sometimes you don't.
Right.
But yeah, so now it might not occur to you. You're just going around in your day-to-day life. Maybe I wonder if this coffee is made with slave labor. I have no reason to ask that.
Yeah.
If that's you and you just have no reason to question why that would be, and you didn't Google it randomly, okay, that's one thing. If you know that and you're like, I don't care, I'm buying it anyway, well, it's there. It's not on Infowars.com. It's on Starbucks.com. So they're admitting to it. It's not like a secret. So, yeah, if you know something and you don't and you
do something.
I wouldn't even say if you don't do something, because I'm not saying, okay, everybody, you're obligated to go free all U.S. drug prisoners, traffic prisoners.
Right, because if I start to go down the list of... Okay, so if I start to go down the list of corporations, many of whom we do business with regularly, whether it's going to a Target or Home Depot or something like that, you start going down the lists of these corporations, and it's not hard to find some sort of immoral thing that they either do or support. So I remember years ago on this program, I think it was like the 2008 range, because it was during the presidential campaign back then, where both of the major party candidates were supporting what they were calling national service. And I'm surprised this hasn't come back up again in recent times. But the idea of national service is that you work as a slave, basically, for the state, for the federal government specifically, as for instance, a teenager just getting out of high school. Kind of like,
what is the name of that movie?
Starship Troopers.
Yeah.
So, it's based on a Heinlein novel.
So you would, work for the states. You would join some sort of national service program at the national federal level, and then you'd go and work for them for 2 years before you could go to college or something like that. The specific terms of whatever that program
very
would be.
Similar to like how Israel drafts people at 18.
But this would be for a civilian draft.
Right.
It wouldn't be for the military. It would be for the people who didn't want to go into the military.
Right.
They could go and do whatever thing that the federal government came up with them to do. And anyway, my point that I was bringing up by bringing that up was that these corporations had signed on in favor of national service, because the way the government was making it sound was like, this is volunteering. We're encouraging people to volunteer, as though being forced to work for the state for 2 years was somehow the same as choosing to go and work for a soup kitchen. But they were purposefully trying to conflate those two ideas together.
Right.
And so you had companies like Target and Home Depot, I think those were two of them, coming out and saying they supported national service. They supported a program of slavery for all Americans. Now, was that because they knew that was what was intended with national service, or just because they liked the idea of having their names associated with a thing that they thought was volunteerism? Regardless, my point is, if you're trying to find problems with corporations, you're gonna find them.
Okay,
and so if you start refusing to do business with every corporation because, well, Starbucks has slave labor from prisons, but Target supports national service, and Walmart supports this and this, you can then where do you buy things?
Okay,
at that point?
So if you're in a situation where I have three options, one of them is slave labor, one of them is bombing countries, and one of them is torture, and that's the only three places you can get food.
Right. What do you do then?
There's nothing you could do about that. But that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about
you could go buy a farm and you could get all your pigs and chickens.
Except the regulations are going to not let you do that. Like that's the entire point.
So that's one scenario in which there's nothing for you to do, whereas the other scenario is people having unnecessary items that they know where they come from and they don't care, and they don't say I don't know what else to do. They say to me I don't care, and they just kind of do whatever they want because they don't care, and it's something that they don't need, and they could get somewhere else for $2 more expensive or whatever. Those aren't the same thing.
I get what you're saying. The toll-free number, if you want to join us here, is 855-450-FREE. But let's come back around to the general question of people on average. Are they immoral people or amoral or whatever, how you want to look at it? But so are you saying, Melanie, that you believe that most people are ignorant of the violence that they may be sort of tacitly supporting by not looking into something, or that most people are aware that the positions that they're taking are supporting violence?
I've had a lot of people who told me that they know, and who either told me that they know and I know that they don't act as if they know, or they act in conflict with that, or they straight up told me they don't care.
Mm-hmm.
So if there's something that you don't know and you just have up until now have no reason to ever think might be a thing. Like, I was really surprised when I found out that, hey, guess what? The state still has slave labor. It didn't occur to me that that would be the case. So if you had no reason to ever think that that would be a thing, or that whatever the case may be, some other thing, you had no reason to think that it would be a thing, you're not going to, like, randomly Google, like, every possible scenario and spend 6 months randomly Googling every possible scenario you can think up with.
We got more coming up here. If you want to join us, the toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Plus, we got to talk about libertarian women and the conflicts between them, which apparently you've experienced recently, Melanie, which is what sparked the discussion, which we're going to have coming up shortly. If you want to join us again, 855-450-FREE. This is Free Talk Live.
I got my Blink home security system delivered right to my door. I downloaded the app and it walked me right through the easy setup. Even with my complicated router system, I was done in like 10 minutes. Now it notifies me whenever something moves in front of the wireless cameras, or I can just check it whenever I want right from my phone. And I got you a deal. Get 3 Blink cams for what the other guys charge you for 1, plus an extra 10% off. Visit blinkprotect.com/FTL. blinkprotect.com/FTL. blinkprotect.com/FTL.
Thinking about getting into cryptocurrency? It's time you looked into Dash. Dash is digital money that you can use to send instant and private payments anywhere for pennies. Dash offers a decentralized network where miners are rewarded for keeping it strong and safe. Dash has made a huge impact in the crypto world. Start your journey. Check out dash.org for more information and get in now on the future of cryptocurrency. Dash.org.
The Bitcoin.com wallet is a simple and powerful full-featured Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Core wallet that allows you to send and receive either currency with anyone, anywhere in the world. Download the Bitcoin.com wallet for easy and secure access to your Bitcoin Cash. It's perfect for beginners, and the Bitcoin.com wallet makes using and holding Bitcoins easy. No logins are required. The Bitcoin.com wallet is available for Android, iOS, Windows, Mac, and even Linux. Learn more at Bitcoin.com.
Cryptocurrencies are successful because of good technology. The liberty-loving voluntarists who founded Zencash in 2017 took the best tech, like zero-knowledge anonymity and decentralized autonomous organizations, and are creating a secure platform for money, messages, and media that can be sent to anyone, anywhere in the world. Zencash is a cryptocurrency dedicated to peace, anonymity, and decentralization. Find out more at zencash.com. That's zencash.com.
Free Press Publications is an independent, alternative media and publishing company founded in June 2009 with the mission of ensuring a free press for the freedom movement, and is committed to spreading the message of peace, freedom, love, and liberty. FPP also gives new authors an avenue for publishing freedom-oriented material. FPP brings you daily news and commentary on the website fpp.cc, as well as a daily 5-minute newscast, FPP Radio News, and weekly news, views, and commentary in the FPP Freedom Minute and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio at fppradio.com, and the monthly newspaper FPP News at news.fpp.cc. Find FPP online at fpp.cc. That's fpp.cc, as in Creative Commons.
Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that 1/10 of a calorie it takes to click on something. Facebook.freetalklive.com. We've all heard about blockchain assets like Dogecoin, Ether, and Ripple. Bitcoin isn't the only player in the blockchain game any longer. And for those of us wondering how to get our hands on these digital assets, finally, there's a solution. Shapeshift.io allows you to buy and sell between your digital assets and Bitcoin instantly between your own digital wallets. I've used it with ease. Shapeshift.io. There's no account or email address needed. You send them the crypto you want to sell. They send back the crypto you want to buy. It's that easy. Shapeshift.io.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. You can bring up whatever you want. Take control of the airwaves at 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. And you may Skype in at Skype username LRN.FM. Cryptocurrencies are hot right now, but crypto is where it is because of good technology. The liberty-loving voluntarists who founded Zencash in 2017 took some of the best tech like zero-knowledge anonymity and decentralized autonomous organizations, and they're creating a secure platform for money and messages that can be sent to anyone, anywhere in the world. Zencash is a cryptocurrency dedicated to peace, anonymity, and decentralization. You can find out more at zencash.com. That's zencash.com. We've been talking about the morality or the lack of morality of people, and we're going to continue that discussion. Then talk about libertarian women, the elusive, barely existing libertarian women. There's so few of them in the liberty movement. And the inevitable question is always, well, why is that? But that's not what you wanted to discuss, Melanie. We'll get into that coming up here. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. Our Skype username, if you want to join us there, is LRN.FM. So we're talking about how what sparked all this initially, for those of you just tuning in, was Ron Paul had an article that I shared, a short one, about kind of the future of freedom in 2018, and that he's optimistic, and and I appreciate that optimism. I'm also optimistic in general. I don't think we're going to see any kind of significant turnaround in 2018 in that way. I think it's going to take a long time before people really start to come on board with these ideas. And that's not because I believe that people are inherently immoral. It's just that, or that they are, or they happen to be immoral or ignorant. I think they're just ignorant. And it's hard to cure ignorance because it's always easier to remain ignorant. It's easier to just go about your business and, live your life and not worry about the slave labor, as you pointed out, that is allegedly behind some of the Starbucks products.
Well, it's not allegedly; they flat out said it.
Okay, I had no idea.
Yeah.
I'm taking her word for it because I haven't seen anything. I haven't looked into it. I'm just going to accept that. And but many people, they don't want to be bothered with these sorts of things. They've got a lot going on in their lives. They've got a lot of responsibilities. They've got bills to pay. They got, mouths to feed. And that's what they're focusing on. And, they don't have time to get into, or the interest to get into, what they consider to be politics. When you start talking about the issues, they might pigeonhole you as, oh, well, you must be a Republican or a Democrat. And so, they don't even want to listen any further. Or if you do explain to them the ideas of liberty, they don't understand why government is what you're saying that it is. That we believe that the government or the state is a organization of strangers that uses violence against peaceful people. I mean, it's a criminal enterprise from top to bottom.
But it's not that complicated. I'm not trying to explain to you quantum physics. I'm trying to explain to you something pretty basic.
It's not that complicated, but you're going against years of indoctrination. You're trying to reverse and undo programming that has been inculcated in these people basically from birth. I mean, at least from a very, very young age, by their parents, by their grandparents, by the news media, by Hollywood, by the government itself, by the education system run by the government. So you're this lone voice in the wilderness who's shouting against all that and saying, hey, supporting that organization over there, that government, that's an immoral thing to do. Not only are you going against all that indoctrination, but you're also going against the cognitive dissonance that comes up when that person's like, I'm not immoral. I support my church. I donate to charity. I do all these other things. What are you talking about? The state's immoral. We all agreed to it. We voted for it. There's all these explanations that they can go through in their head as to why this isn't immoral.
No, absolutely. And when I first heard about libertarianism, when I first heard about the NAP, the non-aggression principle,
thank you,
the belief that nobody has the right to initiate force, threats of force, or fraud against another person, including the thugs that call themselves the government. I absolutely rejected the idea the first time I heard it.
You rejected the NAP the first time you heard it?
Yes.
Okay.
Because of its implications for government. Because I was more of a fundamentalist sort of Christian at the time. And I was like, well, no, but it's the state that should, make people act morally. But eventually I realized that morality really...
There's a contradiction there.
Absolutely. The state... eventually I realized that the morality has to come from oneself. It has to come from the heart and the mind. And, it can't be forced. Otherwise it's not real. And
I agree.
So that was kind of the first thing that started unraveling that. And then from there I was able to accept it.
How long did that process take?
Well, let's see.
And how long ago was this that you're referring to?
That would have been back in... I probably first heard about it in probably 2009.
Okay.
Give or take. And
how long between when you heard about it, rejected it, and then eventually embraced?
So I went full voluntarist the summer of 2011.
Okay, so a couple years.
Yeah.
Couple years.
Yeah.
So, everybody's got their own timeline. I think it's faster generally now than it might have been in the past because we do have more access to information.
Right. And in that case, I had just heard about it and then had no more contact for probably a good year and a half.
Right. Yeah, because most people aren't in New Hampshire. Most people are converted on the internet.
Right.
I accepted the NAP the first time I heard of it. It seems...
The non-aggression principle.
Yeah, really obvious to me, and I kind of wondered why I didn't figure it out before. But I wasn't an anarchist for another 6 years because there is things you have to kind of sort out. And
Does that mean you were immoral for that 6-year time frame?
Yes, but I do want to clarify something.
So can't you? You're not going to get her on being inconsistent.
But I do.
But can't you then?
But I do want to clarify something that I don't think is clear at all from what I'm saying, and that anarchists are not smarter than statists. We're not more moral than statists. Even there's anarchists that do horrible things. There's statists that do horrible things. The thing we are more than statists is luckier. Okay, so yeah, what?
Okay, so then you should be able to empathize with people then if you yourself were in a situation where for 6 years you were an unprincipled person.
Well, and the time before that I was a statist. So, yeah everybody in this room apparently except for you was a statist at some point. So...
Yeah, I wouldn't say I wasn't a statist. I didn't disbelieve in the state, but Anyway, my point is, if you can empathize with people because you've been in their shoes in the past...
I can empathize with someone who's doing something that's wrong, yeah.
Then I guess what I'm trying to impart here...
those 6 years kind of were horrible. That was like being a minarchist is like... If I really, really hated somebody a lot, I'd be like, I'm going to make you be a minarchist. I wouldn't... That's just an awful thing to do to somebody.
I just think that, most people out there are mostly ignorant and not interested in really learning the truth about what's going on because it's inconvenient, it's difficult,
okay, right, but
it's
if you're not interested, then that's a judgment on you. If you have no access to information, then that's a judgment on me for not making it accessible enough.
Yeah. I just don't know if the attitude of, these people are immoral is the right attitude of being able to persuade them.
People, not of statists or minarchists specifically.
The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE like freedom. I would rather appeal to their sense of morality rather
you
than
could do
think that they
I can
aren't.
do logic, and then we'll convert everybody.
It's Free Talk
I mean,
Live.
they're not incompatible.
The answer to being in control of your own healthcare is freedom from insurance. Become part of a group of self-pay patients that come together to share in each other's medical expenses. Individual share amounts begin at $107 a month and $347 for families. Choose from 3 health-sharing programs. Holistic treatments may be eligible for sharing. See guidelines. Discount programs available for dental, vision, and pharmacy. Go to libertyoncall.org. That's libertyoncall.org.
This is Dan Pilla. Do you owe the IRS money you can't pay? Are tax debts crippling you? I've defended people from the IRS for over 30 years. I've helped thousands, and I can help you too. I wrote the book on IRS settlement, and I'm telling you, there's no such thing as a hopeless case. Call 800-34-NO-TAX to finally get free of IRS debt. With the IRS's new programs, there's never been a better time to solve your problem. Call 800-34-NO-TAX. That's 800-34-NO-TAX, or my website, danpilla.com.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com.
When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.info today to find out more.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM. The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, and you can bring up what you want. Our toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. 855-450-3733. We do have Skype, and the Skype username is lrn.fm. Melanie, you are an accountant by trade. That is what you do. You're bringing on new clients because you've hung out your shingle gone off and doing your own thing now. You used to work for companies. Now you don't work for anybody except for yourself and all of your clients.
Yeah.
But it's better to have a bunch of little bosses than one big boss, if you will, and sort of the clients are your little bosses in a way. But you've got businesses that are doing, availing themselves of your service. You've got individuals who are signing on to get some help with their tax filings, which, of course, are going to be coming up fast. I mean, it is the new year here. We're doing the show on the 1st of January, and so we're just a few months away from that dreaded April 15th date. What do people who are interested in maybe trying an accountant for the first time or switching over from their current accountant, what do they need to know?
So if you're an individual who does just the yearly taxes, you have a W-2 job or maybe a 1099 that is kind of just income, then you come to me whenever you get all your paperwork.
The W-2s when they come in the mail, the 1099s, all that when it's all done?
Yes.
Okay.
And then any interest documents or any expenses or anything like that, just whenever you get it all together, then come to me then. If you know your stuff is complicated, you might want to kind of make an appointment even if you know you don't have anything yet, because I can always just type in an amount from a W-2 after I do all your other stuff.
Okay.
If you have a small business, then if you need me to take over the bookkeeping, then get an appointment and we can go over exactly what you need to do based on
how complicated.
Yeah, what you are coming from, whether you're starting new books or I'm taking over from a retired accountant or taking over from you were doing it before, something like that. Just kind of based on, that's going to be really specific as to what you're coming from and what your business needs.
And you can help, because you're a real anarchist, as we've determined here tonight, you can help people keep as much money as possible from the hands of the state.
Yes.
That's what you're good at, because you hate the state, and that will show in how you consult with people and help them out with stuff.
Yes.
So we did, by the way, fix our subdomain issues. So now going to tax.freetalklive.com should work for everybody. There was a short time or a period of time where it wasn't working for some people on some browsers. It is now. So tax.freetalklive.com, that will forward you directly to Melanie's website, which has contact information on it, allowing you to reach out to her and bring her on board to help you out with your tax situation, because taxes suck. Why not have an anarchist do them for you? The toll-free number here is 855-450, free like freedom. Let's talk about libertarian women in a moment. But first, Tiss is on the line in Baltimore. You're on Free Talk Live with Ian, Bob, and Melanie. Hello. Hello.
Yeah, what's the advantage of having an anarchist do my taxes?
It's a good question. Melanie, what is the advantage of an anarchist doing taxes?
So some accountants, not all, kind of feel that they work for the IRS, and they don't. Well, I mean, I guess some accountants do work for the IRS. They go to the IRS and get a paycheck from the IRS. But some people will kind of replace their risk tolerance, I guess, for yours. And there's deductions that you really do qualify for, and they just don't want to deal with it. Whereas I will, not to say that we're just going to kind of make stuff up or anything like that, but I will make sure you keep as much as they're going to let you, basically.
And what good does not having people pay their taxes do? I mean, how are you going to fund social programs?
I'm not.
Through the free market.
You don't help people?
Well, you said social programs. That has nothing to do with helping people.
Yeah, you can help people without giving money to the government. In fact, you're better off helping people by giving money directly to the local charities that are actually doing the helping of people. I mean,
or going out and helping people yourself.
Roughly 50% of the United States budget goes to the military, so you're kind of killing people when you give them money.
Yeah, I mean, plus, even what they do give that's quote unquote charitable. I mean, you have a bunch of sleazy thugs taking 90% off the top.
That's true.
For taxes.
The bureaucrats are also taking a big, even if you just look at welfare, like 70 or so percent of the welfare dollars actually go to the bureaucrats running the program.
And then even with what they do give,
then there's the people who take advantage.
Right, it's mismanaged.
People working the system.
Right, and I mean they have the calculation problem, so they have no way of even knowing what efficient is, let alone actually being efficient with that money.
Charities are far more efficient, dollar per dollar than governments are. But these are good questions, Tiss.
What about people like my mom who are on disability? You think people just help her for no reason?
Yes.
Yeah, because people are kind and people
Why?
are
They don't even
compassionate.
know her.
Huh? What's
Why?
that?
They don't even know her.
I've helped plenty of people I don't know.
Did you know that there were natural disasters that happen around the world, and the Red Cross and other charities collect billions of dollars in contributions from people who will never even set foot in the areas? I mean, think about the typhoon in Thailand from a few years ago, which just devastated people's lives. There were billions of dollars poured into that from people who don't know anyone in Thailand and never will probably ever go to Thailand, but yet they donated to that because people are compassionate generally, and they can put themselves in those people's shoes, and they can say, I wouldn't want my house to burn down, or I wouldn't want my house to, flood or whatever, and so I would want to help. Huh?
It's a natural disaster.
So?
Yeah, and it's also a disaster when somebody has a disability and they hurt themselves. I mean, people's houses burn down too.
Most people don't care.
What?
No, that's not true. I've
Stroke victims are a natural disaster. Most people don't care.
Most people don't care about what? I couldn't make it out what you're saying.
Stroke victims.
Stroke victims?
Oh no, that's not. Yeah, no. There's absolutely charities that help people who have had strokes and medical issues, and of course, and of course, apart from that, there's charity. Or there's there's various insurances that you can buy.
Well, I mean, there's countless medical charities out there. Some hospitals and doctors offer their services free to low income clients, and they have charity wings. That's such a thing in some hospitals where you can donate to that. I'm sorry?
Are you saying to get rid of disability?
I don't know what kind of phone you're on, but it's really hard to make out some of the words that you're saying. What about a disability?
You're saying to get rid of disability.
Could you make out what she's?
No, I can't.
One more. I'm going to give you one more chance. What was it?
You're saying to get rid of Social Security.
Yes.
Well, we're saying to get rid of the
yes,
government.
absolutely. Get rid of socialist security.
Yeah, because I don't believe that using violence is a good basis to help people. Do you?
How is it violence?
Oh, well, the government is based in violence. Every government program out there is based in aggressive force, meaning that if you don't support the government by paying whatever they demand from you, that they will come after you and use violence against you. Don't you think that's true?
No.
Yes.
No.
Oh, absolutely. if you don't pay whatever they demand, they're going to come at you with the threat of gun and cage and steal your property.
What do you think's going to happen if somebody doesn't pay taxes?
They go to court.
They go to court, and then what?
And then the judge sentences them to jail time.
What if the person says, well, I don't honor your system, I don't respect your system, I'm not going to your court?
Then get out of the country, you fucker.
Oh, you can't say that on the radio, Tiss. We're so sorry, but that's just not acceptable. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. So, so there's an example of somebody who does embrace the violence of the state, and they are more than happy to wield it against people, and unfortunately, that's where we are today. There's plenty of people who think like Tiss.
Yes, I'd like to add, absolutely, socialist security absolutely should go away.
You hate old people, don't you?
No, absolutely not. But I do hate being stolen from, and more importantly, I hate seeing people that I care about being robbed. I'm never going to see a red cent of that.
Nope.
And
what is it, 14% or something like that of every paycheck goes to Social Security?
It's 7, and then your employer matches 7. So if you're self-employed, it's 14.
Well, right, and if they didn't have to pay it, in theory, the employer could pay you more, right? Because they could pay you that 7%. So the toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE like freedom. You can join us in the remaining moments of Free Talk Live, which are coming up.
From the first letter of Captain Mark. History is full of flowery documents claiming to limit the power of the crown. But these poetic social contracts have been impotent to prevent the predation. Limited government is a lie they use to keep us submissive. The crown cannot be trusted to abide by its founding charters, nor its treaties, nor even its own rules. The essence of the crown is centralized violence, and I've had enough. That's why I raised my black banner. I am no revolutionary. My aim is not to reset the cycle of violence, but to break it. My aim is an evolved society, invisible to the crown. not a new hierarchy, but decentralized networks with no central figure for the Crown to target. If you want your servile life, keep it, but we will not submit to the Crown's agenda. And when you are ready to stop being its beast of burden, ready for adventure and opportunity, join us at pirateswithoutborders.com.
Have you ever wondered who the second person to discover gravity was? When you're in the mood for a treat, would you go to the second best bakery in town? Or how about the name John Breckenridge? Recognize it? If you don't, that's because he came in second to Abraham Lincoln. The firsts are first for a reason. Just how ID Stronghold was the first to create the technology to protect your credit cards from thieves with RFID chip scanners. ID Stronghold products block signals from those scanners, so thieves can't capture your critical data. Get a stronghold on your personal information and protect your family too. Don't settle for the second best wallet. Pick up ID Stronghold wallets for everyone on your list this holiday season. They're the perfect stocking stuffer, with leather wallets starting as low as $20 on Walmart.com, eBay, Amazon, and QVC. Save 10% by using coupon code PRESENT for a limited time. That's coupon code PRESENT only on IDStronghold.com. IDStronghold.com.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with agristhosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to agristhosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's agristhosting.com.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
Hi, this is Mark Edge of Free Talk Live. Michael W. Dean's book, User's Manual for the Human Experience, changed my life. In a culture that attempts to turn you into a compliant victim, this book gives you implementable steps on everything from how to be aware of your environment, walking down the street, to business, to how to handle a toxic person in your life. If you're a human, you need to read this book at least once. Go to Amazon and get the Kindle version, or paperback, or an audiobook of A User's Manual for the Human Experience.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
It is Free Talk Live. Moments remain here. Enough time for you if you want to join us. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. In the studio, it's Ian,
Bob,
and Melanie.
We're going to go back to your phone calls and thoughts here, and then hopefully we'll get a chance to talk a little bit about libertarian women. But first, let's go to Robert in Bellows Falls, Vermont. Robert, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead.
Thank you for taking my call.
Yes, sir.
I just kind of wanted to follow up on a little bit about what that last caller said.
Sure.
And I think that what she was referring to was that, people that are on disability. There's a difference. There's disability, and then there's state welfare. They're two different programs.
Yep.
But if I'll use myself as the example. Now I'm 54 years old. Okay, I worked as long as I could in my life, which was over 30 years. I'm a homeowner. And I'm on Social Security disability because I can't work because of my disease. And I paid in all of my quarters and everything. when I first started working, I was going with the flow like everyone else, and I got rolled into the program and got rolled into Social Security just like everyone else, and followed the flow and paid in all the tax bill and Social Security, all that kind of stuff. Why would I mean, I should be entitled to at least, and if you think about it, that's an insurance program, and if you paid into that, you should be able to at least.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with somebody collecting the money that they paid into a program. I wouldn't say that somebody shouldn't be on, whatever this program is.
Right.
Okay, yeah, so there's a couple of issues there. First of all, none of that has anything to do with whether or not a particular program should exist or whether or not the state should exist, which if it ceases to exist, then so would this program.
Right. The state has no obligation to you, Robert. If they want to shut down the program, they're going to shut it down, and then you're going to have to figure out what to do about that.
Not only that, but it sucks that you were robbed, and you do have a right to restitution to get your money back from them in whatever way that comes. But you don't have a right to advocate that I be stolen from to pay
so like
for
Social Security and disability and any of these other programs, they're not insurance policies. If I ran an insurance company the way they're running this, I'd be in prison 5 times over.
Yeah,
they're Ponzi schemes.
Yeah.
So
well, that's not really fair
money,
to Ponzi.
Yes, it is. They took your money. Yes, they robbed you. That doesn't that money's gone. That money's spent. That money's been spent 40 years ago. So
right, but I mean, I didn't get asked to get ready. There was no choice. I was forced to.
Right?
Get
I'm saying you were
program.
robbed. So if I go walk down the street and get robbed tonight, which is highly unlikely in Keene, New Hampshire, but if I do, I can't turn around 30 years from now and be like, I'm going to go walk around in New York City and rob somebody else. Those two things, one's not an answer to another. And as far as disability goes, there are very few people who can't do any job. There are people like that, but there are very few people who just can't do any job, period.
There's jobs where people can sit at a desk and answer the phone all day, and it doesn't require a whole lot of motion or whatever. So I tend to agree with you on that, Melanie, that without disability taking a bunch of people out of the marketplace unnecessarily, we'd probably have a more I guess a more robust marketplace where people were out there and filling a lot of roles that are tough to fill.
I do think Ron Paul is right that unfortunately people have become dependent on these socialist programs.
It's going to be hard to take it away.
And some people do need charity. That is absolutely the case. And so he had a thing where he was talking about how that would be one of the last things he took that he disassembled. And I think that's generally fair.
I liked Harry Brown's proposal, Robert, which he was the presidential candidate for the Libertarian Party in 1996 and 2000. His proposal was that the IRS building be demolished with a wrecking ball, and then that you could sell off the pieces of the building as just like a collector's item, that you could have a chunk of the IRS concrete or something, and then the money that would come in from the sales. And also he was talking about selling off all the land that the government owns and all the other buildings that they have, and then taking that money in and giving a lump sum payment out, or having an annuity or something, ongoing payments for all the people who are currently receiving and who expect to receive these checks, to where they can keep getting their check and the government would go away. So it is possible to do this, Robert. I want to get Robert's response.
I'm not opposed to some kind of a settlement or something like that, but it would have to be something. I mean, I'm not expected to die next week, but if I could live to be 75, I'll be happy.
Thank you for the call, Robert. I appreciate hearing from you. The toll-free number here tonight.
So paying in for 30 years and then taking out for another 45 doesn't really add up as far as claiming you paid in. Yeah,
the biggest amendment I would make to Harry Brown's proposal there would be to cement the doors shut in the middle of the business day. So that the IRS agents,
trapping the people
so the
there?
IRS agents are still inside.
I don't know if that's
when it gets demolished.
I don't know if that's a moral idea.
I mean, they're slavers.
Yeah, but shouldn't you support forgiveness?
You
are a
stop
Christian,
doing it before you
for myself,
forgive
absolutely. But they're enslaving other people, and that needs to end.
I see what you're saying there. How many of them know that that's what they're doing, though?
Okay, it's not a secret. It's not like you're going to work and you think you work for, FedEx, and then you find out 20 years later you were actually working for ISIS. That is not the case. You know you're working for the IRS.
Yeah.
There is
Does
no
that mean you
secrecy
deserve
in what
to
you're
suffocate under a pile of rubble, though? I don't know if that's
It means
the case.
a lot of things.
I mean, there's not
that.
much.
What would Jesus do, Bob?
Jesus would run into the temple, flip over some tables, and beat the bankers with whips. That's what Jesus would do, according to the book about Jesus.
What would a libertarian woman do though?
Most of them would probably go cry in the corner. I'd advocating throwing the tables.
I wish we
had.
I wish we had more time to get into this, because you were pretty hot on this topic earlier tonight when we were talking before the show about libertarian women. You are a liberty-oriented female, but a lot of them don't get along with one another, from what I've noticed.
Okay, women just don't get along, and that's the thing.
Yeah, it does seem to be a thing with women. I'm glad I'm not the only one who thinks that. So, but what is it specifically about libertarian women that, you wanted to communicate or
So there's this question that has been going around for at least 5 years, probably longer than that.
Much longer. It's the question I think you're going to
Some
mention.
libertarians have asked it, specifically female ones. Some kind of just random people in passing ask it. And it's, why aren't more women libertarians?
Yep.
Which to me is really a non-question almost. I mean, it's in the form of a question, I guess, but it's like, so this is what the message is. We present it to anyone who will listen, and then you either accept it, ask more questions, or reject it.
But are you saying that women are more likely to reject the ideas of liberty when presented with it?
That seems to be what the stats look like. So
What has your experience been?
My experience is that most of the anarchists I know are guys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but as far as like talking to women about libertarianism as a woman, right? Because one of the arguments is that, there's so many guys in libertarianism that it's a turnoff to women to even, listen to them. And
so that's not an argument against a philosophy. So
yeah, but if the communicator is a poor communicator, then it doesn't matter what the philosophy is.
Okay, right. So if somebody poorly communicates what libertarianism is, and you reject that poorly defined, non-defined thing, then you haven't really rejected libertarianism. You've rejected some other weird thing that they made up and called libertarianism. That's fine.
Yeah.
But if your complaint is, I don't like that there's too many guys, that has absolutely nothing to do with philosophy.
Mm-hmm.
So then you're rejecting kind of the concept of philosophy, regardless of which one it is. And that's fine, but then that's what you're doing, and I can't make you be philosophical. If you want to go do something else, then go do something else. I'm not going to, I don't go knock on people's doors and be like, have you heard the good news about our Lord and Savior Rothbard and his message of anarchy? That's annoying. It's not useful. It's just a waste of time and
Would
harassing.
women be better at recruiting women?
I don't know.
Okay. I don't know either.
But I mean, the only thing I can do and the only thing anybody else can do is present the message in the way that they know how to.
Is it possible that other women don't want to recruit libertarian or other females into libertarianism because they don't want the competition for the libertarian men?
They don't really have to worry about that anytime soon, and if they do, then I kind of
Let's bring this back around next week, because I think this is a pretty deep topic that we're probably not, we can't do justice in a minute and a half. So Bob and Melanie, thanks for joining me here on the very first episode of Free Talk Live for 2018. We'll see you tomorrow online in the meantime at freetalklive.com. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm.
If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
My name is Jacob Hornberger. I'm president of the Future of Freedom Foundation, which Congressman Ron Paul awarded for having an outstanding freedom website. Write us at fff@fff.org, and we'll send you a free 3-month subscription to our monthly journal of libertarian essays and our booklet, Economic Liberty in the Constitution, which George Mason University economics professor Walter Williams praised in a recent column. That's fff@fff.org.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
The latest episode of Declare Your Independence is next, after the news, here on the Liberty Radio Network, LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Monday, January 1st, 2018. Silver is trading at $16.93 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,303 per ounce. Zencash is trading at $57, and the average price of Bitcoin is $13,447. Antiwar.com reports the latest in a series of Saudi airstrikes killing a number of civilian bystanders in Yemen saw warplanes attack a popular restaurant in the port of Hodeidah on Saturday, killing at least 20 and wounding a number of others. The attacks in the Al Jarahi district targeted the crowded restaurant and destroyed 3 taxi cabs that were parked outside. Everyone in the cabs was killed and dozens of other casualties were reported in the restaurant. Saudi officials offered no indication why the strikes targeted the restaurant, though this isn't particularly surprising, as the Saudis have rarely offered comments in recent weeks related to their strikes that kill civilians. Attacking Hodeidah has become increasingly common, however, with Saudi forces trying to soften up the defenses of the last port held by the northern Houthi movement. Such strikes, however, have tended to target civilian infrastructure.
Are you looking for a cryptocurrency that has a focus on users and usability? Then look into Zencash. Zencash has the ability to use both transparent and shielded transactions, with shielded transactions using zero-knowledge proofs. Zencash features global governance with inclusive decision-making, reliable funding for continuous improvements, and documentation and wallets in many languages that are available for Linux, Mac, Windows, and Android devices. Learn more at zensystem.io. That's zensystem.io.
UPI reports a federal court in December ruled in favor of a California high school student who kneeled during the national anthem despite school rules forbidding protest during athletic events. The U.S. District Court for the Southern District of California temporarily struck down San Pasqual Valley Unified School District's rule against kneeling, sitting, or similar forms of political protest during sporting events and a requirement that students and coaches stand during the national anthem. The rule was imposed in October after an incident in which members of a rival high school team from Arizona yelled racial slurs at the San Pasqual Valley players who engaged in protest. San Pasqual Valley has a majority Latino and Native American population. San Pasqual Valley Unified School District Superintendent Ronna Fox told the Yuma Sun, "Our students were subjected to verbal assaults, other incidents including the throwing of water and the use of racial slurs and gestures. But a football player named only as VA in court documents filed a lawsuit against the school district on grounds that the rule violated his First Amendment rights." Attorney Katie Traverso, the attorney who represented VA, praised the court's decision, saying, "Students like our client who consciously carry their values and ideals with them cannot be silenced or directed on what to say or not to say by their school in this manner."
For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals. Gold, silver, platinum, and palladium. They don't feed the banks. They're Bitcoin preferred and have removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co.
Reuters reports Chief Justice John Roberts said on Sunday he would launch a review in 2018 of how the federal judiciary handles sexual harassment following the recent resignation of a U.S. appeals court judge amid allegations of inappropriate sexual conduct and comments. In his annual year-end report on the federal judiciary, Roberts said the judicial branch of government was not immune to incidents of sexual harassment, and addressing it would be a new challenge in the coming year. Allegations of systematic sexual harassment and assault that surfaced against movie producer Harvey Weinstein in 2017 galvanized women to speak out about instances of sexual harassment in the media, government, and workplaces across the country. Last month, renowned San Francisco-based federal appeals judge Alex Kozinski retired from his lifetime appointment after over a dozen women came forward to accuse him of inappropriate sexual conduct or comments. In a statement announcing his resignation, Kozinski said that while friends and family had urged him to stay on and defend himself, he could not be an effective judge and simultaneously fight this battle. Justice Roberts said he asked the federal judiciary's Director of Administrative Office to form a working group to examine the court's practices and recommend necessary changes to codes of conduct, employee guidance on reporting misconduct, and its own rules for investigating complaints. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
Over 60% of employers are now checking online amateur pornography of potential job candidates. Is it fair to base hiring decisions on an applicant's online porn?
Now, this is not fair at all. For instance, if there's a red tube video of my girlfriend slapping me and choking me and riding me, that shouldn't be an indication I'm going to lack leadership in a work situation.
Yeah, but Duncan, it's going to be hard to convince an employer who's masturbating to that video otherwise.
Exactly. My potential employer might see all those videos of my husband tying me up and having his way with me, and then they're going to think that I'm not going to be assertive enough for the job.
I mean, if you don't want to jeopardize the content of your porn, you can always shoot from the eyes down.
Oh, but that's not the same if you cover the eyes. That's where the innocence is.
So am I supposed to leave an orgy just because someone shows up with a camera?
No one's saying you should leave an orgy.
Oh, right. So
it's more complicated.
So now, if I go to a party, I wear something like this in case that situation comes up again.
I like that. I actually shoot my porn in sepia tone and make it look old-timey, so if people see it, they'll think it's my grandfather and not me.
This is the Onion News Network.
And now, live from the studios of Freedom's Phoenix, Ernest Hancock.
Believe me when I say we have a difficult time ahead of us. But if we are to be prepared for it, we must first shed our fear of it. I stand here without fear because I remember that I am here not because of the path that lies before me, but because of the path that lies behind me. I remember that for 100 years we have fought these machines. And after a century of war, I remember that which matters most. We are still here! Today, let us make them remember. We are not afraid!
Yeah, no fear, no fear, no fear, no fear, no fear, and declare your independence from me, Ernest Hancock, here in Phoenix, Arizona, from the BEA beautiful studios of Freedom's with an S, Phoenix.com. John Brakey's back, auditaz.blogspot.com, electionnightmares.com, electionnightmares.com. And in the second hour, we got good old friend Karen Katowski, and she's a retired lieutenant colonel from the Pentagon that was there during the strike and wrote about, and the war's bad, and been on Lou Rockwell a lot, and she's run for office and just been a wealth of information and opinion. And she just wrote an article, freshman year musings on Trump. You know, so I'm very interested in what she has to say. Then in the third hour, Sheriff Richard Mack. I think he's going to run for Trent's congressional seat. As what? I don't know. We can find out, what party he might do. But, that would be interesting, going from Trent Franks to Sheriff Mack. That is, whoa. I definitely want to talk about that. So that'd be third hour. First hour, John Brakey. He was down in Alabama, for the Judge Moore election with the Democrat, what's his name? And it was very interesting. He wanted, even though John's a progressive, lefter-leaning kind of, good friend, his whole thing is like, look, man, I just want an accurate election. And there's a way to do this now. And the machines, that's how they were sold and built. And, give me gazillions of dollars and I'll give you a machine that can be audited and it's all great and wonderful. And they go, good, well, let's do that. And they go, nah, not so much. Now we don't want to do that. Really? Okay, well, I want to find out what happened. And who do we ask? Mr. John Brakey. John, how are you?
I'm very good, sir, and it's always a pleasure to be back on your show. And, we do go back a long ways, don't we?
It's the same.
But we're getting smarter. That's the whole trick. And we're now being able to possibly turn the table on these people. And this is a good thing.
Okay, now tell me what the mission was. Now, you've gone all over the country. You started here in Arizona and, pissed off the bad guys here. That's good. But all the stuff that you did, you uncovered how they do it. I mean, you uncovered how you can check it, on hard drives and, forensic analysis of the yada, yada, yada. And then they go, damn it, I hate when John does that. So you get a lot of support from people, pay some money to go out and make sure elections are accurate. Well, Alabama came under your scrutiny, even though I would imagine a lot of the supporters of yours would prefer the outcome that happened. That was not the point. You're like, no, we're gonna check it. Well, tell us every little old thing that happened.
Well, it was the most incredible experience I've had lately. First off, I was in the heart of Dixie. And we came into town, and we didn't know if we were going to sue federally or state, but we knew that the Secretary of State was out there doing what a lot of these people do. They lie, and they mislead, and that they try to say that these machines don't produce ballot images, and if they do, we never turned it on. When the reality is, I know it doesn't work unless it's on, okay? So we went ahead and filed suit, and of course I am nonpartisan. Yes, I'm a lefty, okay? But I'm a righty, and I'm with everybody when it comes to elections being transparent, trackable, and publicly verified. Because, you and me both know what happened out of the 2000 election and how they set this goddamn crazy machinery set up that was just perfectly set to steal. So anyway, we went ahead, filed a simple lawsuit, a mandamus type. Your Honor, could you please order these people to follow the law? We had 4 plaintiffs, a Republican, a Democrat, an independent, and a minister, and to be able to go ahead and make the claim from 4 different counties. We sued in Montgomery court, and I was very surprised that when the judge come out, he had read our briefing, read the statutes, and for the most part had his mind already made up. And his mind was that, yes, these ballot images are a public record that must be preserved. And we've learned something very simple. With digital scanners, there are 2 official versions of each ballot. One is what the voter filled out. The other is what the machine counted. And it came out he ruled from the bench just like my judge in Pima County in 2 red states. They've ruled that, as my judge in Pima County said, that if you take a voted ballot and you photocopy that voted ballot, and then you use the photocopy to count the vote, what are you guys, crazy? You can't destroy it. There are 2 official ballots now. It's in the chain of custody. And now our mission is to go into other states. And then, hopefully, Ernie, is to get other people to plagiarize what we do, because we did a 50-state study already, and now we're doing track condition reports for every state, and we're targeting where we're going to go. We're going to probably go into some deep blue states and see if we can negotiate that these ballot images, which are public records, are put online by precinct, and then a cast vote record's tied to it. and then you can download it. You can go ahead and verify any election by precinct, I'm saying, okay? And there you go. We just took away the impunity of a hacker. And we're also saying that after you do that count, you know, I am a Puritan. I want to get back to the original ballot. And we know that these things are married to each other because they were built by German bankers to do this stuff. I mean, wow, Ernie. What a day, huh?
All right, let me go ahead and so I got a couple of questions there, but
Yes,
let me
sir.
sum up for the audience so they understand.
Yeah.
What happens is when you vote on the paper and it goes through the machines now take like a scan of it, a really fast scan. Boom, got it. You know, it's in memory. So you have the paper, and that becomes the backup. You know, they put it and lock it up and do whatever they're supposed to do with it, which is a whole other problem, you know. But they take an image of it, and that image is what's counted. I mean, they might as well do it anyway because that's what they do. It's their imaging, you know, connect the tail and the head of the arrow or something. They're imaging something. Well, what they do, instead of just imaging pieces and parts of it, screw it, we'll just image the whole damn thing. So they take the whole thing, and then that digital copy, that JPEG, that PDF, that whatever the hell it is, you take that is the ballot that is counted. So the argument is that's how they were selling it. You know, these companies, they just want to sell machines. They don't give a crap. You know, what feature you want me to put on there to sell it? You know, oh, you want it to be fraudulent? Not a problem. You want it to be accurate? Not a problem. Whatever, give me the money, okay? So they put that in there, and you have different election county departments of the city, county clerk, state secretary of, who cares? When they count it, they're counting that image on the hard drive. That hard drive, those images become the actual ballots. Well, that makes it available to where you can have someone sitting on their couch can go and they go up to a precinct, go, I want to manually count those images. Doesn't have people's names or vote or whatever. It's the vote. Here's what was voted. Okay, so you can sit there, run your own program, do it by hand, one at a time, image 1, image 2, image 2000, and you can audit it yourself. That was the point. That was the promise. Well, now that's like a little too close to being accurate, and they go, hell no, we don't want to make that, you know, where people can go and audit it. So what John was doing is saying, look, you guys have been destroying it. You say you're turning it off, you can't. That's not how it works. I know it counts it. I know it's there. I know it's supposed to be so I can audit it. I want to audit it. And the judge goes, you know, we can destroy those if we want and delete. Well, we're going to find out what happened.
From the second letter of Captain Mark. Any pirate knows that commerce is communication. Markets condense oceans of information into a single price. Innovations in communication are